All right. Hardy, we have a pre-show meeting. And Hardy, after John waxed philosophical on the Bill Belichick, not Bill Belichick, the Bill Parcells getting into the Patriots Hall of Fame. And Hardy and I just stared at each other, John, the whole time you were talking.
I know.
It's why. Why is this necessary? after the show, the talks are fine.
I was explaining to Adam why.
But before the show, no one wants to be in there. Except for Adam. Adam seems to not mind.
And everyone else, it's kind of my job. It's
I know.
Part of the job. You know?
Am I complaining? I mean, it's good. It was Hardy's idea to meet. It's a good idea. We're doing it. I have no problem with it. I think it's good. I like you guys, so it's not like it's a problem. Oh. It's just I walk in there, and I'm so tired. And everything. It's not anything, and no one's doing anything wrong. It was just nice to look at Hardy and see that he was annoyed too.
John enlightened me.
Well,
thank you, John.
Here's what I found particularly troubling was listening to John mansplain something, and that was off-putting. You know, I don't know what it was, but very almost condescending. Fred, did you almost catch that tone in Wallach's voice? And
condescending.
Yeah. Oh, now, and you're doing it again, you son of a bitch.
How am I doing it again? I didn't know I was doing it the first time.
In fairness to John, he didn't sound condescending there. I know what you do. I know what you're saying. What John does, but he didn't do it there, in my opinion.
No, you're doing it. Go ahead.
It's funny because I maybe am the worst offender of going off topic in the post-show meeting, but to me, maybe to some people that would be worse. Because everyone wants to go home.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But to me, I have way more energy at the end of the show than I do at the beginning of the show. So to me, and to me, at the pre-show meeting, I kind of just want to talk about what we're going to do on the show. And then after the show, I'm much more loose.
It was funny when you were out last week, those post-show meetings were like 12, 14 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it is me that's keeping them going.
Right. Yes,
so.
but we commented on that, but we also noted that you can't do that all the time because part of what we're able to do so well on the show comes from sitting in those meetings and just, coming up with an idea that grows into something else and just sitting around and BSing about stuff. Like, that's important space.
Yes.
I'd rather have you. I like that you're more animated after the show because that's when we need your energy for the creativity to talk about what's to come.
No, yeah, I mean that's not probably why I do it, but I do agree that if that's part of the why you come into work, and that you don't. That's part of the thing I don't like about Zoom. I heard another guy talking about that too, not radio, in business is that it was probably some Saturday Night Live thing. It was of course it was Lorne Michaels. He was talking about how. He was talking about when they were at the COVID break, and you need that like ecosystem. You need people in the office together. Creative people, especially. You need them in that because ideas come from the halls, or he's had some term like that. All right. Anyway, but Hardy, it was a big day on Spooner Street last night. It was a big deal on whatever road you live on in Canton.
Yes, minding our own business as we always do on our street. By the way, one of my neighbors has gone on a long trip, so my wife and I have been keeping track of the comings and goings of the spouse while... and just for the record... Arrived home last night, 9:12 p.m.
Are you standing at the window? Is that how you do this?
Odd time to arrive home. Where you been, Chris? Where'd you go?
Yeah.
Did you head over to Town Spa, sit at the bar, have pizza by yourself? Were you watching the Bruins? Well, the Bruins were still on. Why'd you leave then?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Where are you going? So all this will be noted for the record. But two things happened yesterday. Number one, my daughter wanted to take the dog for a walk. Like, great, take the dog for a walk.
Now you're just rubbing it in my face.
I was shocked. Wait a second. You actually want to do something to contribute around here. Well, who am I to stop you? But nothing's ever so simple. So one of her friends is going to join her, and they're going to walk the dogs together. They're going to go in the trails, near the house and She FaceTimes me in the middle of the walk, hysterical but laughing. I can tell there's nothing wrong. the dog has gotten into some kind of muddy bog of some kind, right? And I'm like, well, get her out, bring her home and clean her up. Okay. She brings the dog home. The dog is essentially, and she's a very light-colored dog. She's essentially like dark brown from the shoulders down, and on her face and on her butt, where she just got it like everywhere. You can tell it's that sticky spring bog mud. Like, great. Well, I can see right now you are not going to be able to clean her up. This is something that I now have to do. And it already prepped it. I had gotten like towels out and the dog shampoo and salt. All right. So I'm outside for a long time yesterday. It's a nice day. It's fine. I don't mind it. As I am outside, a certain car comes onto our street that you would notice this car no matter where you lived. You don't have to be a busybody to know that this is not one of your neighbors.
It's a Tesla truck, obviously.
Bingo. Okay. The Tesla truck, driven by two people, parks at the end of our street, and one person proceeds to get out and they start taking pictures. Now, the person who lives at the end of my street has a very nice home, and these people proceeded to park the Tesla truck in a way so that their home would be in the background, and then took turns posing with the truck with their house in the background. I don't know if I've ever been so infuriated in my life. And the only reason why I didn't post it and try and shame them is because people would think I was making a political statement about the truck. But there they are, Fred. Two people driving a truck. Here, I'm showing you the photo, which I would guess doesn't belong to them. They borrowed it, or it's a friend's or something, and then posing in front of a house that is not theirs. For what? For what?
It's like the real stories of rap videos in the 90s that or cribs in the 90s. Like all the cars were rented. And if you look back at it, you can see like the vintage or the high-end dealer plates like still on the cars, because it was part of the deal that they could get the cars if they kept the deal, whatever imports plates on them, and like it was all rented houses, and Redman was the only one who did it really from his own place. Yeah, these Tesla trucks have become quite a thing. I've seen that now. There is this if you get caught keying a Tesla truck, there is a barrage of people. God, the world is so stupid. If you key a Tesla truck, apparently they have.
Well, it's an act of treason.
Yeah, now it is. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's so stupid. So, like, everyone's keyed a car. I mean, you keyed a car when you were a kid. So if you key a car, I guess Tesla trucks have something that films, like, even when they're, like, just sitting there. Like, they have a motion sensor that, like, starts filming around it, which I guess is good because people are keying them. So there's that going on. But then on the other hand, look, these Tesla trucks, I still am not positive if they're not an elaborate joke just to see what douchebags will buy. Just to see, like, if we make the dumbest looking thing in the world and just like go, hey, this is cool, to see if people will buy it.
It's like a long con bamboozled type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, let's just see. This is so ridiculous as a social experiment. Let's see if anyone will actually do it.
And I know a guy that I like that drives a Lamborghini SUV, so I am not above, but at least that's like kind of cool because it's like a Lamborghini. It's not. I wouldn't buy the Lamborghini SUV. It seems something. They don't go together. Like a Lamborghini should look like a Lamborghini, and those are kind of douchey anyway, but whatever. They look cool. There is that part of you that's like a 12-year-old boy that's like, ooh, a Lamborghini. The Tesla truck just looks like a joke. But anyway, it goes both ways. So there's the idea that people are keying them anyway, but they're keying these cars like as if that's going to, I mean, what if the person was super energy conscious, like they didn't want to burn oil before the whole Musk thing, and then you're keying someone who's on your side. So it's a little difficult to say. But also, so there's people, but they take these people that are keying the cars and they expose them on the internet, and like people go and like tell their bosses, like you're employing this guy that keyed the car. if I owned the company, all right, well, the guy, what do you want me to do? Like, the guy's life should be ruined because he keyed a car? Like, I'll go to therapy. And then, if whatever the penalty for keying a car is, then he'll get the penalty. I'm supposed to fire the guy? It's not like he's a pedophile or something when I'm supposed to fire a guy because he keyed the car. But then there is also a side of the internet. And again, these people could have been these like progressive oil, like they didn't want to burn oil or whatever. Me, I drive a Bronco. I burn all the oil in the world, baby.
Shows what you know. You're actually more environmentally friendly because of the damage to the environment that the batteries is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
All I know is they're ugly. And so they're real ugly. And you look like a total douchebag driving one because you look like you're trying so hard. And
I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah.
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
No, I think that Hardy's being facetious.
I wasn't being sarcastic. Thank you.
Yep. But then there's this filming people
That's true.
driving the Tesla trucks and screaming at them. So like I don't know how this is productive to anyone. It seems like keying is certainly very juvenile. And I would hope no one keys my car, but it is what it is. It's not like a felony. And second of all, and so there's this like exposing them that they should be fired from their jobs, which seems odd to me. And then there's the sitting and just screaming at people that have them.
Oh, and then to top it all off, so they get done taking their pictures, these people who are posing with the truck that's, again, I'll guess is not theirs.
Well, yeah, it sounds pretty obvious what they're doing,
in front of a house that's
it's
definitely
for like a
not
dating
theirs.
app or something.
And then they hit the gas or hit the battery and go screaming up the street. And there are, I'm not being like a funny.
Right.
There are kids out there.
Yeah,
there
no,
are kids,
I know.
the little kids who live in another house on that end of the street are out there, and they're out there every day. You're like 4 or 5 of them.
You're in
riding their
a
bikes
suburban neighborhood. You can't be going real fast in a suburban neighborhood. Right. Kids pop out. It's not, you're not being like Pollyannic or something.
No, but that Tesla truck is pretty fast. That thing zipped up that street.
Well, it's good, too, because from what I hear, there's the blind spot the size of the Grand Canyon on the thing. So it's pretty good that you're zooming around in it.
Like, oh, God, do I just hate that.
But that's another thing. So you're going fast in a Tesla truck. Like, go fast in like a vet. Go fast in like a vintage Camaro.
Yeah.
Go fast in a stupid Tesla truck.
It didn't make any noise, so it's not that cool. Part of the cool thing is
again, yeah,
a nice report out of the exhaust.
I just don't understand how anyone bought one of those. That they went, ooh, I don't know, cool. Ooh, this looks cool. No, it doesn't. It looks horrible. It's a horrible piece of design.
But then I almost feel compelled to help them out. I'm like, hey, if you're going to take glam shots, Windex the windshield first, because it's all smudgy from whatever else you were doing before, and it looks like crap, you morons. Now you're double morons. I mean, the trucks that are not supposed to get dirty, it was kind of dirty, and I could tell from the angle of the sun, it was like all smudgy. I'm like, these pictures are going to look like crap, regardless of what you do.
Did you have the binoculars out?
No, I didn't even need them. I would have gotten them out. Get them out. They're sitting on the coffee table in front of the couch. I don't have to, but I was already outside.
So you couldn't grab them. Yeah,
didn't need them. They were 50 yards away from me. Ugh.
Yeah. That whole thing is weird because again, there's nothing about being, even if you're 25, there's nothing about being like a kid where you were like, this is the coolest thing.
Could you imagine being any age, but especially at that age, and not being just mortified, embarrassed if someone caught you taking a photo like that?
I can't imagine being any age and going, this is like the chum I'm putting in the water to get laid.
Well, there's that aspect of it.
Like, look at this house in Canton that I have in this Tesla truck. Like, Like now you're gonna want to have sex with me.
This super rich.
Just get a whore.
That's right.
No, seriously, get a prostitute. What the hell do what do you want out of anyone? Just get a prostitute. Like pay for it. Like what do you think? What woman's gonna go? Yeah, I was iffy on the guy, but he had a Tesla truck and had this house, this like mansion in Canton.
But it's a contradiction in terms.
It's not. I'm not saying can't like what I'm saying is it's not like you don't own a building in Manhattan, right? Like it's not. It's the same thing in Newton. If you had the big house in Newton, it doesn't matter. I'm just talking about like you have a nice sized suburban home and a Tesla truck. This is the chum in the water to get
Research
laid.
involved needs to be improved.
Yeah,
Just
Right,
a little bit.
exactly. Like
that is the height of wealth and power, obviously.
Yeah, like
It's true.
Like what girl's gonna go? I was on the fence, but I mean he's driving a Tesla truck, and that's a 3600 square foot house. I mean you can't lie about that.
Like they could tell though there are other people like out there on the street and like, don't you feel embarrassed for doing what you're doing right now?
That would be why they roared out of there like a bat out of hell.
No, I think they roared out of there just because they've never driven it before, and they
all right.
wanted
Well,
to see what it
that's
could
true,
do.
yeah, and they're pieces of crap.
Yeah.
Or just it's more. I feel sorry for them than anything else. It's really this peacocking thing seems very odd. I mean, at least just. I mean, but I do understand not everyone can do local radio, which is the ultimate. It's almost like Spanish Fly. It's got its own little thing. Once people go, you do a local radio show? Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do, baby. You like that? All right. When we come back, there was all these rule changes in the NFL. Your Boston Bruins played last night against a man chasing history. And we will have that for you in just a moment. last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happens, so change your lettuce and change your life. With Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. A big news story is Val Kilmer has died very young at the age of 65, unfortunately. That's a very young age to die. He was in the Top Gun, the Top Gun, very emotional for people. He obviously was a fine actor, but he's the performance of he did in The Doors is being showcased as one of his great roles, which I think is not fair to him. Because did you guys see the Doors movie?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it.
Did you get through it?
I watched it when I was like in high school, and you watched everything when you were in high school.
Yeah.
And I remember just being, no, this is bad.
Yeah, it's like, and this is not. I'm not insulting the dead. This has nothing to do with Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was not the reason the movie was no good. I don't want to. I'm actually defending Val Kilmer here. Is that if I was being remembered and I was Val Kilmer, I'd say, can we just please put that aside? Not that it was a bad performance by him, in that the movie. Oliver Stone got very into himself for a minute there. Like, Oliver Stone started really feeling himself. He was given a lot of leeway by Hollywood, and he just said, if that movie wasn't 3 hours, it certainly felt like it. There's no way I got through it all. I just remember, and I don't like hippies, and I hate the Doors. I mean, I know for a fact Jim Morrison, by a lot of people, his contemporaries that knew him, they thought he was an idiot. I told you Danny Fields one time got Nico, the Velvet Underground, beautiful woman from the Velvet Underground, and Jim Morrison in a house together in L.A. just because he wanted to see what two drug-addicted idiots would do together. And Jim Morrison ended up on the roof naked, saying he was going to jump off, and Nico was crying in a room. They had just met like 4 hours before, and Danny Fields was like, this is great. And then he had to hide all the drugs because they went through them all. They were going through them so fast. So I like when people like talk about what a great poet Jim Morrison was, because his contemporaries were like, this guy's a fool. He was just a beautiful man. And that's why people liked him so much, as he was until he got all super alcoholic and fat. He was a beautiful man.
Yeah, I didn't see it out, not because I wasn't avoiding the indulgence of Oliver Stone as much as I was just avoiding anything that celebrated the Doors. I went through a Doors phase of about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That I think every kid in the 80s did if you were a young person or a teenager. And then I realized I don't like this.
Yeah.
That I don't know what it is, and it doesn't have to be rock and roll for me to like it, but it's not rock and roll, and I don't like it.
The worst part was everyone started insisting upon it for about, 5 years in there?
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird.
If you're Mark Capello, it's gone on for 50
Fair
plus
enough.
years.
I just remember my
enough.
parents listening to them and just
crap.
being like, why are these songs so effing long?
How does Capello like the poetry of Jim Morrison, but yet is the most right-wing person on the history of the planet? It seems counterintuitive.
I don't know. I'd rather talk about the self-indulgent Oliver Stone than another Bruins loss. So let's just quickly timeline it, Fred. Platoon, 1986, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Wall Street, another. I know you're a big fan of the movie Wall Street.
I love Wall Street.
I think it's very good.
I think it's campy and great. I like Wall Street a lot.
You get what I believe is the underrated movie Talk Radio.
Yes, with that Bogosian guy. Yeah, I've seen that once. Yes.
And then you start getting into the films that go on for maybe just a bit too long. Born on the 4th of July, which is a very good movie, but it's very long.
The best thing about that was the Always Sunny in Philadelphia Charlie episode. Yes, okay. Where the parody's at.
That's 89. Then in 91, you get The Doors and JFK. Now, JFK is something that when it's on, I'll still watch it, mostly because you've got not just Kevin Costner, but you've got Jack Lemmon and Tommy Lee Jones and Joe Pesci, and it's a tour de force.
3-hour movie.
You know, I haven't seen that.
It's got to be at least 3 hours.
It's more than 3 hours.
Yeah.
Is because back when it was out on video, it was 2 videotapes.
Yeah.
Like
can't do
if
that.
you went to Blockbuster, it was 2 videotapes, and I'm like, "There's no way this is happening."
I looked up the doors, 2:15.
Oh, wow.
2:15.
Well,
But you're right, it did
shows
too
how
longer.
how bad it was.
All right, 3 years later, Natural Born Killers, which I've never seen in
I've never
its
seen it
entirety.
either.
I've seen bits of it. The movie Nixon, that's got to be the Anthony Hopkins version of Nixon, which
Who Capello would have voted for, but yet still likes the Doors.
yeah,
In his mind, it's still 1971. So
it's
My father was a big Nixon guy. I'm like, you were like in your 20s.
unwatchable, that Nixon movie. Any Given Sunday. Okay, we've all seen that.
yep.
Yeah, I didn't like that movie.
And I don't think you really found it again until World Trade Center, which was really good.
Well, I'm making judgments on Oliver Stone, and there's quite a bit of his catalog that I've not watched. So maybe that's my own ignorance.
World Trade Center. Is that Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, it's really good.
I never saw it.
That's
I didn't even know that movie existed. So shows what I know.
All right, now we can talk about the Bruins. Alex Ovechkin in town last night, needing 4 goals to tie Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. You know, he scored 4 goals in a game before. Maybe he could do it on the Garden Ice last night.
Wow, back to Carlson. Throws one in front. Score! Ovechkin had the puck ricochet to him. And an empty net in front of him. And there is number 891 in the career of Alex Ovechkin. And it's 2-0 Capitals.
I saw the breakdown of that from Jaffe, I think, during the intermission. And when Ovechkin is obviously great on the power play, and he's so strong on the puck, and he does all these things well, but it was so smart. He was set up in front of the net in order to deflect a pass or just a shot that came in. But as the play developed, he kind of moved off to the side and said, oh, no, I can actually get a pass over here as opposed to just playing for the deflection. I mean, there's a reason why the guy is about to break the all-time goal scoring record.
This might
He's
be
that.
common knowledge, but I had never heard it before. I have a friend who knows someone who played with him. But this, again, might be common knowledge, and maybe the guy's making up the friend. But the guy says that the dude that played with him said he's never seen Ovechkin drink water. That on the bench, Ovechkin drinks Coke heavies. Like, he drinks, like, regular Coke.
No idea.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
and that he, like, is he's part owner. Like, he owns a bunch of Papa John franchises. So he's just, like, he's kicking back. I mean, he's a big boy. Like, he's just kicking back Papa John's, like, every night. And that they've never seen him drink water.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
So
Now,
I don't know if he read that in a magazine and then said he was friends with someone, but that's what he said.
Do you remember Agassi back in the day would drink Coke heavies during matches?
No, I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
no.
he'd go there and sit down and just eat, there's like a big red can of Coca-Cola Classic. Like, good for you, dude. All right, but the Bruins not being rolled over in this one, thanks in part to David Pasternak.
Right back to Lorei, center of the blue line. Middlestat rights her back up top. Lorei to the left circle. Kiki fires in front, and it scores! Deflected in from right in front of the crease, and the Bruins have tied it at 2.
Power play goal there from David Pasternak with just a couple minutes left in the second period. So, had some hockey to watch last night. Unfortunately, the Capitals would score the next 2. This particular goal to make it 4-2 was unfortunate.
Off the near boards, Ovechkin got it to Dubois through the neutral ice. Here's Wilson stepping across the line. Then one across, and it ricochets in past Swayman. And the Capitals make it a 2-goal lead with 5:14 to go.
Ricocheted off of Mason Lowry.
Yep. Not
Take it
good
easy.
in his own defensive end. Not really, not very good.
Okay, we'll ask Jaffe about it later. He said last night, it's like, it wasn't his fault. He was in the right place. Like, if you're a defenseman, you're there to break up pass and the puck goes off of you past your goaltender into the net. Can it be a little bit your fault?
Yeah, by definition, you were in the wrong place if it deflects in off you, correct?
I don't know.
Doesn't that make sense?
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't say it like that. Go, yeah, low ride.
Yeah, Lowry.
Low ride.
Deflecting pucks.
Low ride. doesn't give a.
I'm just talking about low ride.
I'm just,
Shut your mouth.
baby. I'm just chewing the fat about my man Lowe's. I'm just rapping about the low man.
So it's over, right? It's 4-2. You've got 5 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game. I mean, you can't possibly think anything is going to happen now.
Moving it through the high slot, Pasta to the right circle, shoots and scores, rings it in off the far post. And the Bruins cut it right back to a 4-3 game.
Really nice goal from Pasternak in the moment for a team that has rolled over in these circumstances far too many times this season.
Yeah, they were horrible in the first period, but played well after that.
Well, I mean, Pasternak and Zaka are the two people on this team that are good.
Geeky's good.
Yeah,
He's closing in on 30 goals. He's
yeah, but Geeky, Zaka, and Pasternak. Yeah, those are three guys that on the ice and Lowry offensively. But if the three guys on the ice, Geeky, Zaka, and Pasternak are the guys, and that includes Swayman, by the way. Geeky, Zaka, Pasternak. This Swayman contract.
That first
no
goal
bueno.
he gave up, I mean, he had a clear view it the entire way, and the guy just beat him.
Yeah,
I
don't like
that's
that.
the first thing I thought of. A couple other things. Oh, finish off the game first, Hardy. I had one thing I wanted to add.
I know what you're going to add, and I'll let you do it. But yes, the Capitals get the win 4-3 last night. So that puts Ovechkin 3 goals away from tying, 4 from surpassing Gretzky, and now the traveling party starts going to every city, including Wayne Gretzky and the commissioner and anybody who's got something to say about one of the last great records in American sport will be on hand in each city that the Capitals play in case it happens on that night.
What a class act.
Yeah. Now we're in a hat trick range, so of course you have to travel.
All right, so you're going to talk about an NHL debut last night.
No, I wasn't actually.
Are you going to talk about how they have the worst record in the East?
What I was going to talk about
You're not going to talk about the debut.
I wasn't. No, he didn't score. He had one big hit, so no, I wasn't going to talk about that.
Yeah, the two kids from BC. One debuted in the Garden Ice. That must have been very nice for him.
Mm-hmm.
I did not watch 1 second of
Northampton,
this
Massachusetts native.
game. And another kid from BC debuted for the Rangers.
Oh, very good. No, I was going to talk about a fight which was longer than the normal fight.
Okay.
Jeffrey Viel, and we've talked about this, Fred. Guys who do this for a living don't look forward to doing it. Viel had 8 fighting majors in Providence, so they called him up. I'm thinking it's like Tom Wilson Insurance was the reason they called him up. But he got involved in a scrap with a bigger guy. Viel is 6 feet tall, maybe 205 pounds. He fought a guy 6'5", 240 last night.
And we got a fight out at center ice. Viel and Dylan McElrath as they square up at the blue line. They twist around, and Viel has his helmet taken off by McElrath. Still able to get one in there. McElrath's helmet goes flying as they continue to joust out near the blue line here. Both guys with jabs. McElrath waving off the official. McElrath trying under and over, and now Viel with a couple of rights over the top. And the officials will finally jump in after a spirited bout and a smile on the face of Jeffrey Viel.
That lasted 3 minutes.
It seemed
4 minutes.
It seemed to last a really long time.
I'm
And
just
the kid
impressed you
Alonso
guys watched it.
They let it go. I mean, that's not something you see all that much. But yeah, 2 guys who get paid to do this, they let them punch themselves out, and it took a really long time.
Yeah.
All right, so we promised we were going to do this at the beginning of the season, and I want to keep our word because the season's not much longer. The Boston Bruins now have 69 points.
Nice.
They've lost 9 games in a row.
That's not good.
Too short of the franchise record, by the way.
They are in last place behind teams like the Buffalo Sabres in the East. Your St. Louis Blues have won 10 games in a row, and they are going to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And Jim Montgomery is the coach of the St. Louis Blues. They signed him 30 seconds after you fired him, and there you go. But there's guys that are hurt. I don't care. Jim Montgomery went and turned that Blues team around. That's not a very good Blues team. And he turned that team around. They've won 10 games in a row. And they've captured the city's attention. No one's going to Cardinal games. Have you seen the stands of those games?
Yes, I have.
And they're all going to Blues games. So that coach that needed to be fired so badly, and what a terrible coach, and what a terrible person. Well, no one said he was a terrible person, but because he's a great guy. I'm very fond of Jim Montgomery, and I think he absolutely got. Well, look, he's probably glad he's gone, but that's not good for your organization. That's two now. That's two guys that left. You justified the Cassidy thing, and then Montgomery coached well, so you went, okay, there you go. But then you fire Montgomery 10 games into the season, and now you blow. And by the way, there's Swayman albatross. I'm not positive when you get good again.
That's the thing. What is it that attracts good coaches and good players to this franchise? Except the aura of being an original six. And Jim McBride was saying, well, that matters. I'm not sure that matters a lot. If you're a head coach and you saw what happened to the two guys that just preceded you, I'm not sure that people are going to come running to take this job.
We have to break. I'm not overly concerned about their ability to get a coach. I'm concerned about their ability to hire one and keep them. To be able to hire one, to be able to hire one and keep them around. Because Jesus Christ, I mean, you got to keep this next coach for 5-6 years. I mean, you can't be firing coaches like this. What if Montgomery goes on a run? What if Montgomery makes the Western Conference Finals? Now you got Cassidy and Montgomery. What if they play each other in the Western Conference Finals, you morons?
Yep.
What an unstable mess of things they've made this. All right, we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins lost their 9th straight game last night, 4-3 to the Washington Capitals at TD Garden. Alex Ovechkin, career goal number 891. He's 3 short of Wayne Gretzky's career record. The Bruins visit Montreal tomorrow night. Celtics have won 9 in a row. They'll play Miami at TD Garden tonight. Grandy and Max had the pregame at 7, the tip-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Al Horford doubtful. Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis are questionable. Red Sox had last night off. They'll play in Baltimore tonight. The $170 million man, Garrett Crochet, will make the start. Sox have lost 4 in a row. They're 1-4 to start the season. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of the Boston Red Sox. Make this season your season with the solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Naz here from Window Nation. Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy 4, get 4 free sale and pay nothing until 2027, now through April 30th, only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com.
For nearly 4 decades, WellPoint has proudly provided health coverage to Massachusetts residents through the Group Insurance Commission. If you're insured through the GIC, WellPoint offers a variety of plan options to meet your needs with comprehensive medical benefits. Based right here in Massachusetts, WellPoint is committed to supporting state and municipal employees and their families who serve our Commonwealth. WellPoint is here for your whole health, physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being. To learn more, visit wellpoint.com.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Or your grandma here with us, making carne asada.
She does love a cold Corona.
Throw in some dancing.
Oh, we can watch the game.
I'll drink to that.
So a backyard concert with football, food, dancing, and Corona?
And your grandma.
Or we could keep it simple.
Simple is good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
The pros know nobody beats FW Web. With extensive inventory, personalized service, and a fleet of trucks across the Northeast, FW Web supports all customers, from one-van contractors to large facility operators. For planned projects, emergency jobs, or maintenance, FW Web has what you need, when and where you need it. For plumbing, heating, HVAC, refrigeration, propane gas, and PVF jobs. With over 100 locations, visit fwweb.com to find one near you.
The Wall Street Journal named Bridgewater State University one of the best colleges in America. Why? BSU graduates help power our state's economy. They trained in top-tier facilities, gaining the hands-on experience employers look for. Now they work in cybersecurity, engineering, medical research, and other fields on the rise. Elevating business in Boston and beyond, BSU works. Visit bridgew.edu/elevate to learn more. That's bridgew.edu/elevate.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Now, for a limited time, you can save up to $2,000 off Marvin windows or doors installed by JB Sash. Visit jbsash.com for details.
Tune into the next Celtics broadcast to find out which player really took care of business in the first half, sponsored by Cambridge Savings Bank. With CSB, you get a partner who puts you first so you can focus on what matters most. Visit CambridgeSavings.com or stop by a branch to start your relationship today. Member FDIC.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
It's called Rising and Grinding.
Start your day.
Got your finger on the pulse, Fred. Seldom right and never wrong.
Right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
I know, looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
The team mentality is not about playoffs this year and doing anything meaningful with this season. The season is over. It's all done. They told you as much before the trade deadline. It's done. It's all done, right?
Looks that way, yes.
Okay.
But
Once again,
God forbid something happens.
Streak now that they've gotten rid of Tortorella.
Who's out there, Fred? He's out there.
Tortorella told the guy on the Flyers if he re-signs, he was going to bury him. There's a pending free agent on the Flyers that he told, if you re-sign, I'm going to bury you, which I'm sure management would be thrilled with. Yeah, you just tell the guys that who we can sign and re-sign. You go rogue on us. Thank you, John Tortorella. All right, the NFL meetings are, and we're going to get into what Kraft did and all those things coming up here in just a moment. But there was some rule change things that have people on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, so something that has been tabled, which to me means nothing more than it has been tabled, but the tush push. And several teams wanting the tush push to be outlawed, made illegal. They have decided to table this matter, which a lot of people take to mean, oh, this is actually going to pass at some point, and they will institute a rule making it illegal to do the tush push.
Well, 16 teams were in favor of it.
You need 24.
And you need 24.
Yeah.
So they tabled it at the McKay from the Falcons wanted to table it until May. And so I guess they're going to do whatever
further research is needed.
They
yes.
do. The interesting thing is the overtime is that you're guaranteed a possession in overtime, but it's going to stay 10 minutes. So here's the question: if you, you're guaranteed the ball back in overtime, but it's 10 minutes. Now, here is the question. Do you want the ball first because you can keep the ball for 10 minutes?
I was just going to
It's
say.
very difficult.
What's the rule? I mean, we've seen ball control drives that take forever. Sure.
So, because it's an interesting strategy. I like the rule in that a lot of people don't, but I do. Is because you go, do I take the ball and try to milk the clock? But then the thing is, if I don't, like that's the thing is, do I milk the clock, knowing that that the time can run out, right? Like they're guaranteed the ball back. Like no matter what I do on the drive, my drive, even if I get a touchdown, they're guaranteed the ball back. But so what's the strategy? Do you now you no longer just try to score. Now you're going to try to put together like a bit of a drive. They're never going to make it 15 minutes. They're never going to do that, which is funny because they're going to play 18 games. But they're never going to. And you know why they're not making it 50-minute overtimes? They don't want the games to overlap.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if you go out there, if you're a high-flying offense, if you all of a sudden start your strategies to slow things way down. Hopefully that you can, score with a minute left on the clock and put the other team in a bad situation. I do find that interesting strategically.
I always want
we'll
the ball.
see.
Always want the ball first. Put pressure on the other team. You assume you can go down and score a touchdown, force the other team to have to score.
Yeah, no, you're going to want the ball first, but it's how do you handle that drive? It's do you deliberately take as much time as possible? Maybe at the expense of scoring. I mean, do you throw the ball downfield during that drive? Because before the question was, of course. I mean, if I score a touchdown, it's over.
Right.
First, ideally, I get the ball and right away I score a touchdown. But now if you score a touchdown right away, there's 9.5 minutes on the clock, and the other team gets the ball. They got 9.5 minutes to operate with. But if I keep the ball for 9.5 minutes, then I won the game. Unless I have a very porous defense. So there you go.
Something else that happened yesterday that I thought was an April Fool's joke. The NFL is incorporating the old AAFC stats.
Yes.
And now championships will count, I guess, pre-Super Bowl era and
From
all
the
this
1940s.
Stuff. Yeah.
Otto Graham. Let's hear it for Otto Graham.
So,
what's wrong with that?
The team in Cleveland won the title in 46, 47, 48, 49, whatever. So now all those count as championships. So the hand-wringing is, now there's other people that will take away from, Tom Brady's record and things like that.
Bill Belichick's, too.
And Bill Belichick, I still think it's going to be talked about in two separate components. There will be the Super Bowl era records, and then there's this thing that they're who's clamoring for this? Who wants this? Who thought that this needed to be a thing?
Jimmy Haslam. To make people believe that Cleveland isn't a terrible franchise.
Historic people that don't believe the world started in the 60s. Smart people with a sense of history. Not Johnny, what happened recently, folk. That's who wants this.
People like you.
Yeah, real deep historians.
Weren't you
real cool
weren't
guys.
you a history major?
I was, and I remember everything. I remember everything I did.
Then you'll remember that the Browns in one of those years I just mentioned went 14-0 and won the championship. So it's not just the Dolphins anymore. Now people in Cleveland and Miami will be popping champagne corks whenever a team suffers their first loss late into the season. There we go. We still got the record.
All right. When we come back, Robert Kraft did talk yesterday. He was in a nice blue jacket in the heat of Palm Beach.
With a black shirt. I love the black-blue combo. I didn't think you could do that.
Base colors. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, duh.
You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. All right. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
3 left put the Washington Capitals ahead to stay in a 4-3 win at TD Garden. Alexander Ovechkin added career goal number 891, which is only 3 away from Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. David Pastrnak scored twice, but the Bruins have now lost 9 straight games. They're in Montreal tomorrow night. Celtics will be at TD Garden this evening to play Miami. Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis are questionable. Al Horford is doubtful. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Joe Mazzulla yesterday voted the NBA's Eastern Conference Coach of the Month for March. Red Sox had last night off. They're in Baltimore tonight. Sox have lost 4 in a row. And in NFL news, team owners yesterday tabled to vote on the future of the tush push. They also tabled to vote on the changing of playoff seating. Also, the dynamic kickoff will stay with touchbacks now coming out to the 35-yard line, and the method for measuring first downs will switch to camera technology. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenheiser Home Services. For a limited time, Rodenheiser is offering up to $2,000 off a new AC system with next-day installation, flexible financing, and rebates. Now's the time. Go to Rodenheiser.com for a free estimate. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update is 7:30.
Boston plays here.
Coming through the slot. Close shot. Save. Rebound. Score.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
Does this ever get old? Do you ever not like it? Having a nice hot grilled hot dog sliced? You like it, right?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub. The NFL meetings are going on right now, and they're in West Palm Beach. Did Andy Reid shave his mustache? There was some talk of that, but I don't think it's true. All right. So Robert Kraft talked yesterday, and there was a media scrum, and he had some things to say, Hardy.
Sorry, now you got me looking to see if Andy Reid really shaved it. The Chiefs pulled an April Fool's Day joke on fans using Coach Andy Reid's mustache. It was 20 hours ago. This story posted. It looks like Photoshop.
So it's been debunked.
Yeah. It was a prank. A few people on social media did fall for it. And there we go. Okay. He actually looked fine without the mustache. But all right. Yes, Robert Kraft speaking yesterday and meeting with reporters who were covering the owners' meetings. And he seems to think that things are going in the right direction.
We have some real talent in the locker room, and I think we're privileged now to have a head coach who has learning curve experience and has really come in and created a great atmosphere.
Okay, well, that's good because he also says the last couple of years here, he did not try and paint a rosy picture.
You know, after my family, this team is the most important thing in my life. The bottom line is winning games. These last 2 years have been brutal, really. I wanted to try to do whatever I could to get back to a system and a situation where we had hope, but a chance to do anything. And I really think we're on that path now.
He said something about when I was a kid, I used to sit in the bleachers, and when I was a little kid, he says little kid, I used to sit in the bleachers and dream of owning this team. And I thought that was interesting because already you knew you weren't going to play. Like, as a little kid, like, wouldn't you want to play? Like, wouldn't the goal be to play? Who wants to own the team when you're like 8 years old? You want to play.
Yeah.
Who knows who the owner is when you're 8? Your dream is, I want to own this whole thing. He had very realistic dreams for a young man, a young boy, that he wanted to buy the team. Again, I don't recall like watching the Cardinals or the Jets when I was a little kid and going, if I could only own that team one day.
Yeah.
You're still playing Little League. You still think that you could do it, you know?
He is modifying as is realistic the expectations and the goals for the team. Say 8 years ago, what was the goal for this team?
Win a Super Bowl.
Win a Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make another AFC championship win the Super Bowl. That was the bar that you had set for yourself. That was what became the norm around here. That is no longer the case.
Ever since I've owned the team, the objectives was to have the team make the playoffs. And because once you make the playoffs, anything can.
Goal. It went beyond that. So now they're getting back to basics here. Let's just make the playoffs. So how do you do that? Are you going to be able to do it with the likes of Mike Vrabel and Elliot
Wolf?
Thank you. Do you know why I was spacing on it, Fred? What's the other Elliot you were talking about this morning?
Gould?
No.
Oh, very hirsute gentleman.
From
Elegant Elliot.
Oh, elegant Elliot Often.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Elliot Wolf. Robert Kraft says, yeah, this is it.
I think the culture now is an open culture where people are free to express
It's
opinions.
an open culture,
There's a lot
baby.
of
Anything goes.
Sex with
different points of view, and it's healthy. I mean, in life, it's important to know what you don't know, and then get the best people around you. And having the infusion of the new people, having a plan, and being able to connect the dots and put it all together. I see it happening, and I'm probably
They call it the
too
Shoney's
excited,
placement.
but I am.
He keeps throwing dirt on Gerard Mayo, man. Every
Little
word
bit.
out of his mouth.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
I
to
tell
have
you
a
what, though,
plan.
He does sound good. I mean, 83
Yeah.
years old. He's all right. He's holding his own, and he's also correcting some things that keep getting said about the family and the team ownership.
Just to correct something, there's never been a case in 31 years where people have come to us to spend and we've said no. Never one time. So we've always been willing to spend. When we do it, we want people to feel they've done their homework and feel confident that we're doing it and improving.
Which is, I've heard this uttered several times. The culture where you're working and what's reasonable to ask for and what isn't. So other teams, I'm sure, would have spent money in places where the Patriots won't. Just because you didn't ask doesn't mean it's something that would have happened. You know, going in,
Yeah.
you get told when you come to work at certain places, hey, you're not getting limo service to the Travelers Championship. You might get someone to drive you there in a car, but you're not going to get the limo. Well, we never refused Fred when he asked to be limoed down there. No, but Fred knew not to ask. So over the years, whether it's coaches or GMs, they knew not to go to ownership with certain requests because it was a ridiculous request based on how things operate there.
What do you think? Because I have a feeling Belichick deliberately kept costs down so he wouldn't be bothered. That was another way to have autonomy, like that he could. Like, I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking you to spend a lot of money. Look at these other franchises, how much money they're spending. I'm not spending it. Again, I put a ton of this in the lap of Bill Belichick. I really don't believe that the Krafts, in terms of like cash spending on players, would be tight with it. Now, their facilities aren't good, and their facilities they're getting better, but not getting up to what like other teams are doing. So that I think they are a little tight with. At least you could make that argument because you look at Baltimore and you look at some of these teams that have small cities, and not small cities with like restaurants and stuff, like small cities for the team, like, you know, training facilities and practice facilities. Like the Patriots are way behind that. But I am talking about like the analytics team or the size of the front office. That has got to be Belichick, because I don't think that the Krafts would go, we're not going to lay out a couple more million more dollars because you're talking about a staff that's not like incredibly well compensated, like a few million more dollars in order to build this staff out. I don't believe that's true.
I'm wondering about the facilities because I've seen the same pictures you have, and other teams have these, huge things, and the Patriots have nothing. I'm wondering how much Bill was involved with that. We're not going to coddle these guys. It's all about football. We don't need X, Y, and Z here. The facilities are fine.
Here's why the
kept kind of Kraft in the dark about what was around.
Because I don't think that's Belichick's call. size of the front office and players on the team, you get autonomy because you've won those Super Bowls. I think that just as ownership and owners of that property, they're in construction. I mean, they know what they're doing. I mean, this is what they do. They're businessmen. Like they know about. They're all. We talked to Bird, and one of the most interesting things he said, and it rings true, is that the owners are working on a different game than we are. As fans, we're looking at winning and winning Super Bowls. And sure, owners want to win Super Bowls, right? But they don't want to be the chump that wins a Super Bowl by overspending. So it's almost like a separate game. It's almost seeing the game is how many games can I win with spending the least amount of money. And Bert, gives examples, and that's all true and very interesting. But the situation is with the facilities and things like that. Look, the family services on a day of the game and stuff. That's stuff that is below their pay grade. But in terms of, they know what other teams have. I mean, they've been to other practice facilities. I mean, they know what's going on. It's only 31 other teams you got to keep an eye on. Jay, go ahead.
Let me just remind the public of when Robert Kraft said no to spending money, and it was on a gentleman named Tom Brady who wanted a 2-year contract, and I believe they said no.
Whose decision do you think that was, though?
I believe it was Kraft's. Like,
you think Belichick wanted him and Kraft said no?
Yes. No. I'm sorry. I think Kraft basically said, "You guys figure it out. Give me the decision." He's right. He's come to me, give me an informed decision, and he said no.
But it was one or the other.
Giving you $25 million.
But now that's come out, and Brady's even talked about it. It was one or the other. You had to keep one or the other. He made the wrong decision.
He did make the wrong decision,
but it wasn't financially based. I mean, Belichick was making a lot of money too.
Well, you just said it. Like, how many games can you win by spending the least amount of money? 4, I believe, is the number, because that's what they've won over the past 2 years.
That's not the argument I'm making.
No.
The argument you're making is they didn't pay Brady. I don't think they paid Brady because Kraft. I think we know that it's not that they didn't pay Brady because they didn't want to. It's that they had a decision to make.
I don't believe Bill Belichick ever went to Robert Kraft and said, Tom needs $25 million a year, and I need Tom here.
No, that didn't happen.
Right.
Like, we know that didn't happen.
So that's exactly what.
How would you not know that? I mean, this is all anyone's talked about for 5 years. It was Kraft's talked about it a million times. It's even in that dynasty propaganda crap that we had to watch because we're on the air. He talked at length about how it killed them and it was this decision. And look, at the moment, you think Brady's got like a year left and maybe not even that good. So you go, well, I have this coach. Maybe I'll keep the coach. Now, in retrospect, it's the wrong decision, but it wasn't like a criminal decision.
No, that was general manager Bill, not owner Robert.
Yeah. Again, you give a guy – the NFL changed so much over the 20 years that Belichick was in charge of things that when you're winning, you give the – I blame everything on Belichick. When you're winning, you're winning and he's keeping costs down, so you're like, this is great. Bill, as we know, keeps his circle incredibly small because he wants complete control, and by expanding that, you're giving up too much power. There's too many voices. There's too many people that can go rogue. And there's no bigger evidence of that than he brought in Joe Judge and Matt Patricia to take on coaching positions that they were intolerably unqualified for. Unexcusably unqualified for.
So it's been theorized, too, over the years, Fred, that it was either written or unwritten that part of Bill Belichick's and the reason why he was getting reportedly $20 to $25 million a year was, hey, I'm going to help keep costs down in all these areas, pass the savings on to me.
Right.
You're going to pay me more than anybody makes in this league, but I'm going to save you so much more than that, and that was kind of the deal.
It's what Mel Karmazin told Howard Stern. You take the money. You keep your staff low paid. You keep the money. That was the big advice he had given him. All right. Later in the show, Greg Bedard offended the man, and I sort of see the point. If I was Kraft, I would have been like, "What the hell, too." Like, you're killing me. You're killing me off. There's never a point in life where you're like, yeah, let's start playing the hypothetical that I die. That's you do with your lawyers and when you're planning your estate. But talking to a guy from the Boston Sports Journal about what happens when I die, ultimately soon, might get on my nerves too. But first, one of the most incredible incidents in the history of mainstream entertainment happened a few years ago. And now the culprit is coming out unabashedly out of the box, just talking S about it in only a way that he can. He's so talented. We will have that for you in just a moment.
So I call him Mr. Lemonade.
Stay tuned for more.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the
like top 3 stars in the world, money and everything else. He's for a very mediocre film, he's gonna win Best Actor that day, and they obviously know it. It's one of these weird like COVID era Oscar presentations, and there's like not a lot of people there. Everyone's kind of spread out. And Will Smith gets up. Chris Rock makes a G.I. Jane joke, and I've seen this so many times. I've watched it so many times. Chris Rock is hosting the Oscars. He's riffing. None of this is written down, and he makes an okay joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. And the initial reaction of Will Smith is to like everyone else. He's like kind of like laughing. He's like, just doing what you're supposed to do. He's laughing, and then Jada Smith glares at him. And he gets up and he smacks Chris Rock and he sits down. And Chris Rock says what he just said. He smacked the S out of me. And then Will Smith goes, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth, da-da-da-da-da. So all that happens. Then they just let him sit there for the rest of the thing. And then he gets up the rest of the award show. Then he wins. And they let him get up and give an acceptance speech, and during the acceptance speech, he's free. It was so weird. So he's freaking out, crying, and he's crying the whole time, and everything is kind of going back without saying it to how he slapped Chris Rock and about how you have to defend your family and about how he was like Richard Williams and he was defending his family.
Yeah,
he's bringing it all back to that, and every idiot in that room is sitting there like nothing happened with these like pleasant looks on their faces, like appreciating the speech, except for the Williams sisters. They keep going to the Williams sisters and they look mortified. Whoa, why is this all happening? And what's even better about it is Jada Smith gets interviewed after. She does this exclusive interview. And she goes, the strangest thing about the night is he referred to me as his wife. So she goes, the strangest thing is we haven't called each other husband and wife in like 10 years, whatever it was. And then all the stuff comes about that Jada Pinkett Smith had this internet talk show, and she made Will Smith sit there while she informed him how she was banging their son's friend. And Will Smith had to sit there while she talked about it. So he was being cuckolded. Like during this whole thing, and apparently, obviously, Will Smith was probably doing whatever he did with whatever his proclivities tell him to do. That is up in the air as well. Not that it matters, but I mean, let's just say it was an unconventional relationship. And you had Will Smith, who got into MIT, by the way, when he was a youth. I believe behaving in a way that he thinks. Like he was almost cosplaying as like an offended husband, like a tough offended husband. Like he was almost cosplaying as that. And you never want to make the enemy of a comedian. That you don't want to do. Because of all the people, you do not want to make the enemy of a comedian, because even if you cut them down and you win in the short term, like you get them fired or something like that, they're smarter than you at this kind of stuff, and they will get back at you, and then it will end up being 1,000 times worse for you than it was for them. And Chris Rock, he flubbed the joke in it, which I'm sure kills him, but he did a live Netflix special where he talks about it and about Will Smith being a cuckold, and in the rap community that is not a cuckold, not looked upon with great respect. Will Smith has always been a terrible, terrible rapper.
Take a cigar right from Cuba Cuba. I just bite it. It's for the look. I don't light it.
I don't know why he has to say he bought a cigar. A Cuban
cigar right from Cuba Cuba. I just bite it. It's for the look. I don't light it.
Yeah, Cuban cigar from the Cuba Cubar.
Right.
He buys a Cuban cigar so he doesn't smoke it. He's admitting to just fronting like it's a prop for him.
Yes.
Much like his wife, in quotations, was a prop for him.
But this has not stopped him from making more music, and he has a new album, Fred.
Oh.
Will Smith has a new record that has dropped. I mean, we've
Yeah,
got
it's
access
called
to
Based on a True Story.
All right.
Okay.
So we have some clips. Ryan Beaton doing yeoman's work here, listening to all this stuff. He has pulled some clips
It's
for us to enjoy.
the International Barbershop Day is the opening song.
Oh, good.
Which is, barbershops are very big in the black community, as evidenced by the Barbershop franchise of films. And Will Smith, of course, is constantly going into the Philadelphia and Los Angeles barbershops to be with his community.
Right.
And just kind of hang out. And, you saw LeBron James had the barbershop show. Like, Will Smith doesn't have a team of hairdressers and makeup people that come over. No, he goes... He takes a drive into Compton or Watts, and he gets his hair cut with his friends.
The thing I'll say about LeBron and the barbershop show and the barbershop chair in his house and stuff, I believe LeBron James has actual friends that he hangs out with and has these conversations with.
Oh, no, I was using it just as evidence in the black community that barbershops are a social area.
Right.
I wasn't using it as an insult to LeBron James.
I know, but even though he's monetized it and kind of accepted it as, either a trope or a prop, that's still somewhat real for him. There's nothing real about Will Smith anymore, but let's listen to some of the music here.
By the way, in this video, the Will Smith is wearing a series of wigs. It looks like it was not. He's like it's. You remember the Nutty Professor?
Yeah.
He's in a series of wigs and costumes, and it doesn't look like it was shot by a real film crew. It's almost like a friend with a phone. He's obviously lost his mind, but this is even more evidence of him completely losing his mind and desperately trying to get back to some sort of respectability, which will never happen. Let me see here. Here we go.
Will Smith is canceled. Oh, you can't cancel no one. He walking around like he all invincible or somebody.
Don't be messing with Will.
He the Fresh Prince. Who the Will Smith think he?
Ooh, he said the F word.
This is an international barbershop song.
No, it's an interior. It's meant to be a skit, actually. I see how it's labeled, and Vox Pro would make you think that, but it's interior barbershop day. So he's doing his whole Prince Paul De La Soul. I'm going to open the album with a cool skit with all these neat voices and really use theater of the mind to put you into the barbershop. With me.
So it's dumber than I thought.
Way dumber.
Oh, thank you for clarifying that. I thought it was. I thought it was international. If there was going to be some tie-in until he's taking over the world, and now it's International Barbershop Day.
Interior.
And now, because I'm black, I'm going to come out here and it's International Barbershop Day. I'm going to tell you how it really is. Not interior, like he's writing a script.
Well,
that's lame.
I disagree. I think it's quite clever. Let's hear more.
Prince. Who the Will Smith think he is? And that boy damn crazy how he raising them kids.
I will tell you this. He seems to be very modern with his flow. I like that he harkens back to the Furious 5+1. This sounds like everything my kids listen to. He's on top of his game.
Boy, damn crazy how he raising them kids. No, he is. Yes, he is. No, he is. Yes, he is. And I ain't never gonna forgive him for that he did.
So he's never gonna forgive Chris Rock for what he did, which was the Jada Pinkett joke. Then you slapped him. Then he got on.
No, these are voices talking about Will Smith. They're saying they're never going to forgive Will Smith for what he did.
You know what? This is working well above my head.
It is.
I'm making many, many mistakes.
I mean, Will Smith used to be cool.
He's still he could fit your whole house in his pool.
I don't know. I mean, he rich, but he ain't rich.
All right, so, okay. Jesus. So it's a skit, Adam.
Yes, it's a skit. It's not good.
Okay, so he's doing a skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which proves his masculinity, by the way. He's doing improv. Woof.
You don't remember Aladdin? What about Men in Black?
Yeah.
I know you're badass squad bad boys. I know you remember that.
Plus the soundtrack.
I heard he down bad.
I heard he won the Oscar, but he had to give it back.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you're an actor. We're aware.
These are all the things that are being said about him. He is acknowledging all these things. Fred.
What about you being a cuckold and your wife sleeping with your friend, your son's friend?
That's track 3.
I'm a cuckold, if I may be so bold. Let me tell her how it should be told. I like watching my wife bone other guys. Oh, but I can't say wife because she says I'm not allowed to, which is true. I sat on a talk show set while she told me she screwed my friend's kid. Yes, that is exactly what I did.
Watching my wife bone other guys. I thought it was funny until she looked at me with those eyes.
You guys have his flow down pat, I got to say.
Nice.
Hey, everybody, I'm Will Smith, and I'm here to say that the rumors are true. I'm not.
You know they only made him do that because he's black. He don't need it.
They only made him do that because he's black?
Apologize and, yeah.
When you hit he hit a black man who was making, everyone involved was black. The producer of the Oscar telecast was black, by the way.
To that point, I think if
everyone involved was black, it might as well have been the Source Award. Well, the Source Awards is run by white people.
To that point, though, Fred, had a white actor gone up there and slapped Chris Rock, he wouldn't have had to apologize. There would have been no issue.
Well, if it was a white comedian that made the joke, this would have gone over a little bit differently too. But it was Chris Rock, who's black. In fact, his breakthrough album was, what was it called? Bigger and Blacker.
You know they only made him do that because he's black. He don't need it. He the first to win a Grammy for rap. That's a fact.
He put all the...
Which was a big, I'm sorry to keep interrupting this, but it was a big achievement for him and lended to his credibility that he won the first Grammy for rap, just like Jethro Tull won the first Grammy for heavy metal.
Yeah.
Over Metallica.
Crest of a Knave, I believe, was the name of the album. The
oh,
hit song
boy.
My Farm is a Freeway.
Wow, what a play.
Wow. That's pretty
Tell
good.
me something I don't know.
That's a fact.
He put all the Philly on his back.
Bottom line, y'all, Will Smith is whack.
I mean, he rich, funny, and sexy, too. You wish you had a Jada Pinkett next to you.
But you don't have her next to you. Like, we all know that she's not recognizing you as, she even talked about how they hadn't had sex in years and years and years.
With each other.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
she was having sex with his son's 19-year-old friends and things of that nature.
Sure.
You and Jada both crazy, girl. What you talking about? You better keep his wife's name out of your mouth. You talking shit.
It's not,
I mean, the voice. This is.
I
I love the commentary, Fred. I do, but like, let's not set aside the fact that this is so corny. Like
Yeah,
this was put to record and released. Like this went through producers and A&R, and they said this is great. Put this out in the world. His own kid didn't. I looked at the track listing. So his daughter, Willow, is a pretty accomplished musician for her age. She's had some hits. She's not on the album.
No,
that tells you everything you need to know.
No, you can't.
Hey,
You can't get on
I'm
this
putting the album out. Yeah, you know what, Dad? I think I'll sit this one up, but thanks.
Do you want to hear one of the more like the actual dedicated
Yeah.
one of his tracks in there? I think you have that in there too.
Okay. So he's Lottie We Like to Party. He's the Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh thing. Okay, and here we go. Now here is him talking about Chris.
Yeah.
I don't know why he keeps referencing Jada Pinkett Smith. They're not married anymore. She's having sex with his son's friends.
Yeah.
What's wrong? God, is he a mental patient?
Yeah.
Complicated. What's happening is she's banging your son's friends. And then
Yeah.
she's having you on the talk show to tell you to your face. You cried like a bitch in front of everyone. You just cried like a baby. And everyone let you do it.
Yeah.
They just sat there like nothing happened. Like, because you're a bigger star than Chris Rock. You can do whatever you want. And Chris Rock has to just take the punch and then go home.
Personal life with my wife, mind your business is complicated.
It is it's very complicated. Her vagina has other people in it. And you're not married.
Which could cause complications.
Yeah, it's not complicated at all. She can do whatever she wants because you're not together. Why do you keep mentioning her? And I can swear on any God that you want, I would not trade places with Will Smith.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine where I am. Will Smith, I do not want to be. No. That I swear on everything holy. I promise you, if I've ever let both my testicles disintegrate today, I'd rather be me than him.
And it might have like at least a chance of being interesting or compelling if there were any nuance to it, or if he weren't just blurting everything out and saying, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." It's complicated. You know, if you're going to cop somebody, cop like Kendrick Lamar style, who doesn't come out and say it. He just says A minor and things like that. And it's up to you as the audience to figure it out.
Well, he does say certified pedophile.
Okay, but he doesn't necessarily say it in every single lyric.
No.
There is some, dare I say,
but he's also talking about someone else and someone that attacked him, and he's saying things about the other person. He's not saying how the other person wants to be him. Like, he could go in on Chris Rock, I suppose, and say like a diss track to Chris Rock about things that have happened in Chris Rock's life. If he found like scandalous things in his life that he could attack him for, that's a possibility.
But he's not doing that. He's just trying to like. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know who's gonna hear this or A, want to buy it in the first place, or B, hear it and say that was cool.
Yeah, he's rich and famous. He's saying, but I would say more like he's rich and infamous.
He can fit your whole house in his pool.
Yeah.
Something happened to him when he was a kid. I don't know what happened to him.
The funny thing is, you probably think this is his way back.
Well, no, that's not a hypothesis. That's an absolute fact. He thinks this is his way back. But it's unfortunate because everything is passed him by in terms of hip hop.
I've been on my grind for a very long time.
All right, that's like you're weird with that beard on that MG Machine Gun Kelly thing that he did against Eminem. Your beard's weird. All right, we'll be back here at the headline.
You better keep his wife's name out of your mouth.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by
the list. Colin Montgomery not on it.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire
right.
didn't make it. That's too bad.
Just telling you that right now.
Is Darren Clark on it?
I have yet to have looked at that. But
Is Tom Pertzer on it? One of the purest swings.
Yeah.
You know what the problem was with Pertzer? Problems with the flat stick.
Oh.
Trouble putting. I saw him 4-putt once from about 25 feet at the Buick Open in Grand Blanc, and it was troubling to watch for such a pure striker of the golf ball. Tom Pertzer.
Okay.
You wanted to talk about it now and for the hour tomorrow, right?
Yeah. I was just giving you time to reflect on the list. I didn't know if you'd seen it.
Oh, who's going to get shunned?
Yeah. Well, I told you Colin Montgomery got shunned.
Okay.
All right, so here's the deal. This is very quick. Maserati, I was listening to the Baseball Hour yesterday, and he was talking about how the Baseball Network was doing a side-by-side comparison of the changes in Rafael Devers' swing, and apparently he's holding the bat a little higher, whatever. But Maz made a point, and then I investigated myself. There's a picture of him last year on one side and a picture of him this year on the other side. I don't know if you guys have known this, but until it's visualized side by side, he's put on a tremendous amount of weight. The mystery of Rafi Devers is no mystery. And he might weigh 300 pounds. I mean, this is a Sandoval situation. And the John surgery, well, yeah, he put off having the surgery so he could get traded. Like, he's 20 miles an hour off his fastball. He wants to get traded. No, there's better ways of getting traded than getting super fat and not being able to hit the ball. And when I say not being able to hit the ball, I mean not being able to make contact with the baseball. Now, there's small sample sizes in baseball, and it's ridiculous and this and that. But Rafi Devers is very, very heavy, and he's not making contact. And it is funny that they started going through the exercise on the MLB network of, like, the swing path and how he's holding his bat and his stance and everything else. And boy, oh boy, it can be summed up with his just as easy as he's a big fatso.
There are small sample sizes, but when you strike out 15 times in 5 games, that's enough.
No,
that's enough to go, okay.
And part of the reason I don't like talking baseball like a lot during the regular season is just it's a fool's errand. I mean, just so much is going to change, and you can't. I don't like talking about things when I know the team's not right. Like if Campbell came up and, was hitting 100, for the first 10 games of the season, it's not – they'd probably be interior discussions, but they wouldn't be like they're panicking, right?
No, Pedroia hit 100 his first month when he got called up.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you got to give guys a chance to acclimate, and, people are going to – and by the way, unless you're watching every at-bat and tracking it, they could be hitting the ball hard and they could be doing stuff like that. What Rafael Devers, based on his history, is doing now is I'm with you, John. The sample size is very small, but I would imagine the organization's concerned.
Yeah, no, these numbers, there are some numbers that stand out. This is one of them.
Yeah.
This is one of those times where, okay, it's only 5 games, but hey now, I mean, maybe we were talking about this yesterday, maybe a DL stint for a phantom shoulder problem, maybe send him down to Worcester, on a rehab assignment to get that quote-unquote shoulder right. This is one of those times where you're spending a lot of money for this guy to hit the middle of your order, and if you're going to go anywhere, you need this guy to hit 30 homers.
Well, if I was an owner of a team, this is the kind of thing that would piss me off. And for what you just said is I'd be like, dude, I'm paying you, and you got this, you got this fat over the offseason while I was injured. All right, well, don't get fat. Like, I'm paying you a lot of money. Like, we're depending. And if I'm a teammate, I'm actually kind of pissed too. Because I'm here. I'm trying to. The more we win, the more money I make. The more they're keeping people around. Like, we got 2 kids in the minors right now, nipping at my heels. I don't need you screwing around in this team going into some start in the season. Winning 5 games to start the season, the first month of the season. Like, let's get going here. Because the more you F up, the more Roman Anthony's coming up, the more Mayer's coming up, the whole thing.
A little bit of pressure on the Red Sox to do well this season, considering the state of the rest of the division and all the promise around the pitching rotation and the lineup. I'll go back to what I said. Rafael Devers is a key part of what they have to do. And if he is not right, that's a big, big big problem for this franchise. They need to get him corrected quickly.
It's big already. 6 feet 245.
No, he is not 245. Yeah. I got news for you.
That's what they're reporting from spring training.
No, he's 270. He's 280.
John. Yeah, 280 to 300. Like, you have to, I mean, he's a strong guy. Like, this isn't
he's
like
always
me
been
when I get
big,
fat.
But this is huge.
Like, dude, I weighed 235 like 2 years ago, and I was fat, but I wasn't strong. Like, I've got Twix legs and arms, twigs for arms and legs. Like, Devers is like a big, strong guy anyway. That's 280 to 300 pounds. And I don't think this is, like, I think that the organization is probably going, Jesus Christ, like, you know, come on, dude. You got so fat you can't make contact. Like, you're an incredibly talented athlete. Like, you got so fat you can't make contact now? Like, these are major league fastballs. Like, he can hit major league fast. I mean, like, what's the deal?
He made contact on that long foul ball on Sunday, and Cora said he's coming around, and that was good.
He got behind that one.
That's a bit of a red.
That's
a bit of a red flag where you're foul balls. I mean, it's not like he drilled one 480 yards to over the right field pole, like just right of the right field pole.
480 yards. What is he, Dustin Johnson?
480 feet. I apologize.
Okay. You really want to talk about that top 100 golfers list, don't you?
I mean, it's got a little seed in my brain.
All right.
Yeah, look out tomorrow. In fact, maybe I'll get the guy who made the list on.
12. Get on the phone.
That's what Mad Dog was working on yesterday. Caller number 10, and I'm not kidding. Caller number 10 at the contest line, 617-931-0985. We'll score a pair of tickets to the first ever Masters Watch Party and Top Golf Expo at Banner's Kitchen and Tap on Saturday, April 12th. Head on down to Banners for a day of premier golf experiences, delicious food, and plenty of chances to win fantastic prizes. Visit bannerskitchenandtap.com and click on reservations to purchase tickets. We'll be right back with Chris Forsberg.
The Sports Hub. You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy.
Is presented by Bentley University, where good business begins and leaders come to learn. Hi, Chris.
Hey, friends. 12. Do you pick the song? Like how?
I do. Yes, I am.
And
in charge
anything
of the
significant to that one?
No. I wanted to give Hardy a little love because he likes the Gin Blossoms, and I always try when you're in to play something from the alternative rock genre because of your history with the late WFNX radio.
Did you a Gin Blossoms guy?
Oh yeah.
So they played a Super Bowl party, the first Super Bowl I went to. And I think they did Hey Jealousy twice, which I appreciate.
No, you know what? Up yours. No, they didn't.
I'm telling you, they opened and closed.
Where? What city? Where?
It was in Arizona, I believe.
Yeah, I was there. I was at the show, the one in the park.
No, this was like an indoor Super Bowl media party.
Okay, well, maybe for you idiots, they did Hey Jealousy twice, but the show they did at the park, which was a free show with Jimmy Eat World.
Ooh,
they did an actual.
Who goes on
set.
first in that scenario? See if you can't. No, okay. First, you're all right.
Sorry, Hardy, but
you're suggesting that you remember the exact set list, and now you can't even remember who went on first.
Gin Blossoms are open in any show with Jimmy Eat World.
I believe it was. All I remember is that we planned our arrival and departure for Gin Blossoms. I think. Yeah, we got there for Gin Blossoms.
Okay.
And then Jimmy Eat World went on after. We didn't stick around.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was
disrespectful.
No, it wasn't. It was a Thursday night, and we had to get up early and do the show the next day. And we were leaving the next day, so we had to go home and pack everything up because, you don't get to stay past your appointed checkout time. And checkout time happened while we were on the air, so we had to be packed up and ready to go. So we had stuff to do.
Not a Jimmy Eat World guy though.
I like Jimmy Eat World, but I'm a big Gin Blossoms guy, and we were there to see them in their hometown essentially, and it was a big thing.
I just saw a Gin Blossoms Instagram post, and they were doing something acoustic. It was very good, very good. Still stands the test of time.
Yeah, I sat in on an acoustic set they did a few years ago.
Wow, what a flex right there.
Well, it was because it was not with an audience. They were just in a studio recording something.
How'd you get that invite?
For satellite, because it was for the station I work for in satellite, and they said, "Hey, Gin Blossoms are coming in to do a quote unquote live session that they just record and then play it back at some point." And I stood right there. And no one else was in the studio. The engineers were in the booth. They said, "You can go in there while they're doing it." And I'll show you.
Cool.
I shot a lot of video that day. I still have it. Yeah.
I don't mean to hijack this basketball segment, Fred, but is there any song on that satellite radio that you detest playing or will not play, or do you have to play everything that is on their list?
There's plenty of stuff that I don't really. I'll tell you and see if you can guess what I think is the most divisive song that we play, and that's how I sell it every time I am forced to play it. And it is a love it or hate it song, 90s alternative genre. It was a bit of a crossover, but there is no in between on this song. You either love it or you hate it.
Ooh.
Female vocalist.
Okay. I might need one more hint.
Not Alanis Morissette, and I would
Fiona Apple.
No, it's not Fiona Apple. I would say and one hit wonder. One hit wonder, female vocalist. It's a love it or hate it song. There's no in between.
12. Do you know where he's going with it?
What is this? Phone a friend?
Yes, it is.
Love it or hate it.
Yes,
90s alternative song, female vocalist, one hit wonder.
Love it or hate it, 90s alternative song, female vocalist, one hit wonder. The first one that comes to mind is
might be an all-female band. I can't even remember.
The first one that comes to mind. Are you quizzing me on this? Because the first thing
I'll give you one more hint.
Natalie Imbruglia, Torn.
No.
Yeah.
Much more popular.
Hold on. Can we go down a wormhole for a hot second?
You already have, but go ahead.
Have you? I mean, do you know Torn's a cover?
Oh, who wrote it?
It's a band. Look up Edna Snap. I believe it's called
Australian band.
It is.
Yeah.
It is the alternative version. It is 1,000 times better.
Interesting.
That's impossible.
I know it sounds impossible. Listen to it. It is the grimiest, best version. First off, when you first learn that Torn is a cover, your mind is blown because your whole childhood is a lie. But then you listen to this alternative version.
It still counts all the times that I used that video.
And it's fantastic.
Doesn't take that away.
Forsberg coming in with music knowledge, like dropping it on me and Hardy and Fred.
Look,
I like this.
Back to the trivia
I already
question.
knew that.
Four
The most
non-blondes.
Divisive? Oh, man, I'm going to kick myself for not knowing
12
that.
just said
What's
it.
up by Four Non-Blondes?
Thank you.
It's nothing divisive about it. It's a full-on bad.
Bad song. Which is ironic because Linda Perry went on to write huge hits for pop artists for decades after that.
Yes.
All right. So we were talking about something before the show. It's not basketball related, but Ryan is on the case. Ryan is Johnny on the spot. There's an article in The Athletic, and it says ESPN's Pat McAfee and others amplified a false rumor a teenager's life was destroyed. So a listener sent this to me, and I think you guys had seen it too.
Mm-hmm.
And so Pat McAfee, we don't have the audio, but whatever. It's not.
We do have the audio.
We
now,
do have
if
the
you want
audio.
it, yes, Ryan found it, cut it. It's in the top of Wednesday on the news.
Ryan,
would you like to hear it now?
I would like to hear
on
it
it today.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, Ole Miss guy, though. So you're going to have to check in on his father, make sure.
What do you mean?
You know, the right kind of culture type of guy.
Yeah, is Jackson Dart of Ole Miss's dad snooping around?
Yeah, which happens at Ole Miss.
Have you heard about Ole Miss?
I've been there. The Grove.
So you have not heard about the last 12 hours?
No. Parents' weekend's going to be lit.
Have you heard anything about any of this?
No.
Oh, just wait.
What did I miss here the last 12 hours?
Some kid's dad had sex with son's girlfriend.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
And then it was made public. So now that's the absolute worst case situation.
So where is Jackson Dart in all this?
Well, we're trying to combine evaluate.
Yeah, Ole Miss dads are slinging meat right now.
Okay, so I would have no idea what they're talking about. They're getting sued, but they're getting sued. It's this 18-year-old girl at Ole Miss, and what fascinates me about this is how the hell Pat McAfee knew about this. This 18-year-old college freshman. Now she's come out. I'm not reading you anything that she hasn't said. So this Mary girl, she was at the Ole Miss. She's a freshman. She's a first-year business student. She's dating another Ole Miss student. And then February 25th, a claim comes out about her and her boyfriend's father on Yik Yak. Who is her boyfriend's father and who are her boyfriend? Who knows? This isn't like Jackson Dart's girlfriend.
Right. This
isn't, Zach Wilson sleeping with his mom's friend, which his girlfriend put up on like Instagram. This is just some random 18-year-old girl at Ole Miss. So it's something on Yik Yak, and then even my daughter.
Are we burying the lead here? Like, what the hell is Yik Yak?
Well, I asked my daughter yesterday because I was reading this while I was with my daughter. I'm like, "Do you know what Yik Yak is?" And she's like, "I don't know what Yik Yak is." Apparently,
Knock-off TikTok, or
it's an anonymous messaging app popular among college students.
So it's like WhatsApp, but maybe for hipsters.
Sure, I don't. Yeah, hipsters. All right. Yeah,
They
those
get some
Ole
great
Miss
press.
hipsters. All those hipsters, they're synonymous with the underground scene, the Ole Miss. the way that they wear jackets and ties to football games.
But I'm glad you brought up the underground aspect of it because, once again, Ryan beaten to the rescue.
So, Ryan, you know you're going to have to talk. I don't know why there's not a microphone in front of his face.
I got his board up. I told him.
No, you do, but Ryan didn't have the mic in
ready?
front of his face. He was looking at me like he doesn't want to talk. But, Ryan, you have to.
Don't be shy, Ryan.
Because, Ryan, you are the Okay, so how would Pat McAfee know that some random 18-year-old freshman at Ole Miss, whose random 18-year-old boyfriend, there was a rumor about their random father having sex with the random girl? How did this come across the desk of broadcasting guy who makes hundreds of millions of dollars, Pat McAfee? How does he know about this?
So this was like almost unavoidable on.
Well, I imagine to avoid it.
Twitter. If people don't know about it, the burnerverse, it's specifically like popular with SEC college kids. They make these like fake burner Twitter accounts with like fake pictures, and it's a whole thing where they just like specifically their big thing is taking pictures of people in public. They blur out their face, and they're like, "What a loser." And then so with this Mary Kate story, it was like a Snapchat that somebody put on Twitter, one of the burnerverse. They all retweet it, and it's all like the rumors just compiled. I don't know if anyone else has like run into the SEC burners on Twitter, but I think we can all agree that it's like a terrible part of Twitter.
Well, thank God for Twitter.
Were you aware of the burnerverse, Chris Forsberg?
I need to go home and talk to my children.
So
about
Ryan's in his
reminiscing.
20s, okay? So, like, there's this burnerverse, like, there's all these people from the SEC, whatever's going on. So Pat McAfee's whole thing is, wait, remember when he got it, when the thing with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers said that Jimmy Kimmel was on Epstein Island, which isn't true, and he said all these things. Jimmy Kimmel's on Epstein Island, and people went, "Hey, Pat McAfee, that's slanderous. Why would you not step in and go, hey, you're the reason you're famous. That guy on your show just called another famous guy a pedophile." Maybe you step in and go like, whoa. You don't know who was on Epstein Island. You can't just call him a pedophile. And he goes, no, we're just trying to have fun here. Oh, my God, you fool. You work for the Disney Corporation, dip-ass. You want to have fun, super fun guy? Don't get in bed with Disney and take all that money. Go do a podcast and put it out yourself. You can't. Fun's over. You and the gang, the fun's over. That's, as a broadcaster, what drives me the most crazy. Like, we're just trying to have fun. Well, guess what? It ends. The minute you start working for a corporation, the fun ends.
But why?
And then it becomes well above you.
Why does he think that's fun anyway? Why is he living in this state of arrested development where he's getting involved in the SEC burnerverse and falling into rumors about random students and random things, which apparently didn't happen, which is why they're going to get sued now.
So but I don't even. I mean, he didn't. Who knows if what will happen with the lawsuit? I mean, ESPN, Disney will settle and she'll make money, but he didn't say. I don't know the laws. All I know is like that wasn't even funny. Like you're slyly, referencing something that only SEC kids on this burner Twitterverse knows, and it's not even like in a funny way. You're just like, oh, Jackson Dart. And they're like, yes, slinging meat. God, he sucks. If I was ESPN, I'm like, I got to deal with the lawsuit. If it's funny even, and you're getting like positive, like positive negative press, if you understand what I'm saying, like the establishment's waving their finger at you, and you're taking you're going after like powerful people, and you did it, and it was kind of funny and everything else. Like Belichick and his girlfriend, for instance, you're going after a total a-hole who's 73 years old. He's got a 23-year-old girlfriend that's bilking this thing for all it's worth. They're putting this stuff on her own Instagram account. He's showing up to events with her.
That's fair game.
This is fair game. This is punching up. And by the way, and this lady, and even if the girl had a site called like I'm banging my father's my boyfriend's father.com, then that's fair game too. But this guy's running around, Pat McAfee. on the effing. How the hell does he even know this is going on?
Yeah, to
Well,
have
because
somebody's-
I think this is who his show is for. And we often like.
What a lucrative audience.
Yeah, wonder like who consumes this. And it's not that the SEC kids are tuning in every day. His show is for clips of stuff that will get screenshotted or retweeted in places like the Burnerverse and all this other crap just for like viral content for private inside jokes. And I don't know, I still don't know why Disney or ESPN thinks of it as a wise investment in the first place, but that's who it's for. So he's, to some extent, Fred, that's speaking to his audience. It's not a traditional audience, but that's what that show is for. To exist in 10-second clips that get shared around.
Play it
by
again.
people.
Let's hear if I know about this, so I know what's going on. Okay, I'm watching. I want to listen to it objectively. Okay, now I know.
Now you know.
This 18-year-old girl's. The rumor is that she's dating some random. I don't know her. I don't know the boyfriend. I don't know the father.
And they're just bringing in Adam Schefter at this point. And you're watching.
And so I'm being cute with Adam Schefter, and I'm trying to make him uncomfortable. I understand what he's doing. He's trying to make Adam Schefter uncomfortable. Let's go.
Do you want to do it now, or you want to?
No. I want to do it right now. Let's play it now.
All right.
Go ahead.
We're gonna play it now.
Thank you. Play it now.
Dart Ole Miss guy though, so you're gonna have to check in on his father, make sure.
What do you mean?
You know, the right kind of culture type of guy.
Yeah, is Jackson Dart of Ole Miss's dad snooping around?
Yeah, which happens at Ole Miss.
Have you heard about Ole Miss?
I've been there. The Grove.
So you have not heard about the last 12 hours?
Oh, Parents' Weekend's gonna be lit.
Have you heard anything about any of this?
No.
Oh, just wait.
What did I miss here the last
Some
12 hours?
kid's
Stuff,
dad.
man.
Some kid's dad. Dad had sex with son's girlfriend.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
And then it was made public.
Which
so
is,
now that's
knows.
the absolute worst case situation.
So where is Jackson Dart in all this?
Well, we're trying to combine evaluate.
Yeah, Ole Miss dads are slinging meat right now.
I take it back. It was very clever the way they put position there.
It looped the Jackson Dart right
He's
in there.
a real talent. Congratulations. Good. All right. Well, there you have it.
Thanks for the Celtics talk, Chris.
No, he will
Thanks for
stick
being
around.
here.
We will do Celtics talk.
Oh,
Look, they're too good.
great.
We knew that this going in. They're too good.
Oh, yeah.
They're too good to warrant two breaks. But Chris, were you? I just wanted to make sure you were not aware of the SEC Twitterverse where they talk about random 18-year-old students and rumors about what's going on.
I'm only here to talk about the Gin Blossoms. I have no idea about the brand.
All right.
Is there a Gin Blossoms verse?
And talk to him about Eddie House at his gaming chair, maybe.
You haven't heard? There is a 19-year-old juggler, and he got caught microwaving a melon. I don't know if at LSU.
Huh?
There was a melon with a hole in it.
But
He
we're
was
tying
microwaving it.
We're tying it back to the Celtics.
I'm making you uncomfortable.
Yeah, always. This 10-second clip will go viral.
Well, yeah. I mean, the kid at LSU, he's 19. They caught him microwaving a melon, a cantaloupe with a hole in it, and then they caught him, and we'll give his name out and everything else after this. Jesus Christ, Pat McAfee sucks. I tell you what, real fun. I mean, Jesus, it's not even a joke in there. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. become an insider.
I think every year just takes on a different identity and different challenges. This year, and that just kind of became, we never talk about it, just kind of became what it is. We try to play consistent basketball. That means we're something in 12 at home, so it's really just 4 or 5 games, you know what I mean? And so it's not that big of a difference. So it's more about just playing consistent basketball, but I think each year you develop different kind of strengths, especially with the same team, and this year it just happened to be just kind of our road mentality.
Chris Forsberg's here. Just very quickly, real quickly, 2 seconds, is that if your daughter's 18, Hardy, if your daughter, someone put out some random thing, baseless thing about you and your wife and his boyfriend or something, whatever scenario there is.
Yeah.
And Pat McAfee talked about it, I'd kill him.
Yeah. You'd get your hunting rifle and go to Bristol, Connecticut.
I'd kill him.
Yes.
Now, if my daughter was dating, like, you know, the Timothy Chalamet or something, then I'd go, okay, well, she's dating a famous person.
Right.
But if she was going to Michigan State and there was some backroom Twitter thing talking about her and some nameless boyfriend of hers, and I wouldn't even put myself in it because at least I'm on the radio.
And we'll move off of it, I swear. But especially since the girl's life has been turned upside down. She can't leave her dorm room. She can't go to class because now
she's not in the dorms anymore. She had to move 15 miles off campus.
Yeah, she went in to take some like in-person test that they had to be there for, and someone snapped a photo of her being there and put it out there and just reignited the whole thing. And yeah, I would just kill him. I would kill him.
Seriously.
You'd certainly want to. You'd certainly want to.
I have threatened other people over much less. With stuff
shocking.
With stuff, no, but only for things regarding my kids.
Yeah,
fair enough.
What does a mad Hardy sound like?
Pretty much the way Hardy sounds normally.
Yeah, it was very calm. But I did call a buddy of mine, and I said, and I asked him because he has some experience in legal matters. Let's just say, I said, how much trouble will I be in after I go over to this guy's house and burn it down? Because that's where I'm going right now. And I know I've already looked up. I'm going over there, and I could pull him out on the lawn and like try and beat him up. But what I'm going to do instead is burn his house down with everybody inside. And he said, he talked me off the ledge. He said, no, we're going to do this, and this instead. But if it comes to it, I will help you burn the house down.
Fair enough.
Rob,
that's a real friend.
Pool.
That's a real friend.
That's right. He'd like the sneakers so far. And obviously, I'm talking about an instinct. I'm not talking about following through with it.
We're just having fun.
We're just having some
just
fun.
having fun.
I'm talking about just the instinct. All right. Look, this Celtics team, they win 6 in a row on the road. This has never happened before in Celtics history.
History, baby.
Yeah. So look, they were on the road. They played the Grizzlies, who are a good team. I mean, they're a good team record wise. They fired their coach. What was the deal with them firing their coach? By the way,
it's wild, right? So I mean, they've been struggling for going on 25 games now, and I think they understood that there was some difference of opinion within the front office about style of offense they should be running. They had fired some assistants in the offseason, brought in this guy from Finland to kind of revolutionize the offense. It's just the timing of it's super strange where they were good at the start of the year. They beat the Celtics in December and you thought they were legit out of the Western Conference. Something happened along the way where they're not quite as good, and I don't know.
Well,
it's risky to fire your coach with 9 games to go.
However, they were the 2 seed at one point in the West. They were the team that just gave up 52 to Steph Curry last night. They have fallen all the way to 6, and they're tied with Minnesota, who just won last night, for 7th. So they've gone from the 2 seed to a play-in situation.
Who's the 3 seed? So who are they going to have to play who's the 3 seed in the West?
Right now, it's Denver.
Good luck. Yeah, so they're a first-round exit, and I don't know. Then you go into the offseason, and you got some more questions about yourself. I don't.
By the way, Jokic had a 60-point triple-double last night.
60. It was double overtime, but still, 61 points.
Yeah, well, you know why they lost is Westbrook missed a layup, and then he made he fouled a guy in a 3-pointer.
By the way, do you want to hear that sequence?
Yeah,
it's unreal.
Because we didn't get a chance to do it in what happened last night, but the whole thing takes our version 21 seconds.
2-on-1, Brown, Westbrook, no, rebound Alexander Walker, final seconds, here we go, Conley the other way, Edwards looks at the clock, drives, feeds, forwards.
They got a foul.
They got a foul. three-point shot. It's a foul on the three-point shot.
And the foul was on
Russell
Westbrook.
And honestly, like I'm not one to go to bat for Russell Westbrook. One, I can't believe he smoked a layup. Two, you can't call that foul at the end of the game. That's like absurd. The Minnesota coach was walking off the court because even he didn't think it was going to be called. And that's just reckless.
I heard the Minnesota call of it, and the guy's like, Westbrook, whoa. How do you miss that? How do you miss that layup? And that's why they're in transition.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, Edwards in, kicks it out. Okay, and he's like, missed three. Oh,
yeah.
Whoa, he fouled them. He's like, Westbrook sucks. Like the local call, the Minnesota call is like, I can't believe. And then the guy makes the 2 free throws and he misses the third deliberately, and the game runs out.
I don't usually. So Westbrook left the arena right after last night. He didn't want to address it. And normally I'm pretty critical of guys like in that moment. That was probably the right decision. Like one,
because you're gonna go off.
He's pissed. He's pissed at himself because your teammate has this historic game and now it gets somewhat diminished by the loss. And just absolutely you can't call that foul. I don't know who that. I got to go back and find out who that ref was. But oh my gosh, you can't call that foul.
All right. So, what does the 6 wins on the road mean to you?
It means they won 6 games on the road. So they're playing really good right now. 14-1 in March. They look like a championship level team. Like if you had any questions based on the little up and down in January and February, you feel a lot better now. And I'm chief among them. I lost my mind at times because they just didn't look like a championship level team for stretches. But undeniably, they've been so good right now.
The other part of it, though, Fred, is it speaks to how well they've been on the road all season. I mean, they're historically good, 32-7. I mean, they're locked into the 2 seed. And, okay, well, Cleveland might have home court. Oklahoma City might have home court if you get to the finals. I almost prefer them to have 4 road games in a series.
I mean, we say that, but I get what your point is because for whatever reason they've tripped up at home, and so maybe it's better they start on the road, and if you steal one, you come home, you feel pretty good about your chances. But I just think the bigger thing here is you're not threatened by the idea that if they have to go to Cleveland, if they have to go to Oklahoma City, that they can't overcome those things. Wherein a normal season you might be like, that adds a layer of complication. It is really wild that last year they were so good at home, and they were kind of wondering if they might do what the 85-86 team did, and no one's going to go 40-1 again. But to have a chance here, and it will be interesting to see how they play it against the 2 remaining road games are Orlando and New York, 2 teams they might see in the playoffs. So I think one of those games you downshift, but they're going to end up with, if they go 1-1, they'll have the best road record in Celtics history, which I don't know, like you don't get into the Celtics history part of it too often. So it's pretty impressive.
It's impressive, but like you said, for those 6 games we were talking about it a couple of days ago, number one, odd that it's never happened before, but I think the length of the road trip was a factor. They didn't used to do, and they still don't do many 6-game road trips.
That's why I laughed it off when we said they'd never done it before. Well, first off, if you have if you're on the road for 2 weeks, you're going to trip up somewhere usually along the way. I would love to know what the number of 6-game road trips they've had.
Yeah,
over
how
the
many?
years.
Yeah, how many?
It can't be more than 1 a season. So you're talking about limited opportunities to do it. But it is, that Memphis game was the one that I said, that team has motivation. They have a little bit of okay, we just changed our coach. We got to come out and play.
Celtics didn't look good in the first half of that either.
They were kind of limping through it. You just thought, they want to get home, and they still found a way. And they've been down 2 guys every game this trip. So I mean, there's things you can take from it that are super encouraging about it. But the bottom line is let's get to the playoffs.
Are you still, and you weren't worried, but concerned that one of the things that they still need to do is to get some together minutes?
Yeah. So
for the presumed starting 5.
Right. So starting group only played 1 game on that trip, and I think they're up to 22 on the season. So you think about it, like 51 times they've had, or 52 times they've had non-starting group out there. I don't know, they know how to play regardless of who's available, and that's a good thing. I would have liked that group to get more time. You start looking at the injury report. Jalen's still on there. Will they have many opportunities? I'm not sure. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe they're just so good, and it doesn't matter what combo you threw out there. They'll figure it out. I guess the more encouraging part is, and to sort of speak to, they've been so good on the road, so that diminishes some of the home struggles. The bench has been so good. I guess I'm not overly concerned now about whether the starters have that same mojo, but it would be helpful for them to kick a little bit more butt in those minutes.
Talk a little bit more about Jaylen Brown, who has never had knee problems in his entire career. This seems to be a problem here at the worst part of the year for it to be a problem. problem.
Like knee bruises, hamstrings, those things that are just like weird and nag at you. Like he certainly hasn't looked himself, even when he's tried to come back. Look, there's the other thing that's at play here, and I don't know. I know Joe's been asked about it. I don't know if Jalen's been asked directly about it. He needs to get to 65 games to be potentially all NBA and all defense and at least be in the conversation for those awards. And a lot of guys aren't going to hit the number. Like Jalen Brunson's not going to hit it now because he's going to miss too many games. So there's an opening that he might want to muscle into, or especially if you played well to the finish line of the season. I think they all understand that there are more important things, the team goals and chasing another championship. And I think he wants to be playing well going into the playoffs. And so some of that is you got to be out there on the court. But yeah, like when he doesn't have the same sort of burst and explosion, you just kind of want him to take whatever time is necessary to get back to being himself. And that knee bruise seems to be bugging him a little bit more than maybe we thought when it first happened.
I'm going to ask you one thing about some video I saw recently, you and Joe Mazzulla. And I don't know if it was something that was done a while back or something, but it had either resurfaced.
Did I have a mustache?
I don't know.
You got to be paying more attention.
Okay, but again, he's giving his classically stoic non-answers.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
go ahead. You can set it up.
All I want to know is once that's done, and the cameras are up, does he come off it at all?
That's a no.
No, that was funny. So just to peel back the curtain a little bit, so we did very similar to before the season. We did this fun little gimmick where I put like images up on a wall.
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
And all the players and Joe seemed to really like it, and we've got some of our what I think is good content is much better than me trying to do an interview where I just stumble all over my words and try to get through it. This was me stumbling all over my words and asking questions that he really didn't want to deal with. That one in particular, you could see he had a little bit of a smirk throughout it. But that was the last question we had done with him. And so he was already probably like, all right, this guy's got nothing but trash to ask me right now. Yeah. And then we get to the finish line. I'm like, hey, who would play you in a movie? And I think his first one's like, first off, he was genuine in the, I hope no one ever wastes 1 second of time thinking about that. And then the great isolated clip, though, is he's like, that's stupid. And I'm like, you could have put that after any of my questions. But yeah, like when we're done, maybe a little small talk, but I get it. He's a busy man. This isn't the time of year for who plays you in the movie.
What's this small talk?
The small talk is just like, hey, how's your family?
What does he say? Is he ever honest?
Of course. Like, I think, he's
No, but was everything just la-di-da? Everything's okay? Or is there sometimes like, hey, we're all struggling?
I'm sure. I'm not sure I'm the one he's going to open up to if there is any strife in the world.
Have you left that bridge open?
So much like Luke Cornett, I am emotionally available to anybody that.
Does he know that?
I've tried. There's only so much you can stress it, Fred. There's only so many times I bump into the man.
Why on NBC Sports in the pregame are you situated where you are, the three of you? You have Holly on one end of the basketball court. You're far in the back left.
Sometimes I feel like I'm blending into the monitor. And, I don't know. It gets more difficult when Scal's there because Scal is a large human being. And
is he ever now?
No matter where we put him, it's like we all look very little. But yeah, always trying to find my spot on that court.
Did Scal talk to you about that one-on-one challenge that he had
He's
Brooklyn?
talked to everybody about that one-on-one challenge that he's had.
Is he fired up about it?
Could you not feel the palpable
No, I mean
excitement?
still.
Oh yeah, because I think he has been amazed at how much it resonated.
We talked about this a lot the other day. Yeah.
He got heavy.
He did. Just a little bit.
You guys are killing me. Like, look.
Your honest feelings.
First off, that was a 70-year-old man. That's elder abuse. But
that was a 70-year-old man.
Did you know that, Joe?
No,
I thought that guy was like 45.
Yeah, that guy's like pretty strong.
He's at
for
least
70.
in his 60s,
so
right?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to check the burnerverse. But according to the internet, George the Messiah is 70 years old.
Huh.
Interesting.
So credit for him for going out there, but I mean, Scal, as you guys know full well, I know you're still upset about the Scallenge. He will dominate. If you think you can play basketball with that man, you are just so mistaken.
No, yeah, I know.
He will crush you.
He's just so. I mean, aside from the weight gain, but he is.
We've all gained weight, Fred.
But here's why it's interesting with him, and I'm being serious. It's different with him, is because when he retired. Did you know him right when he retired?
Yeah.
Like he was working out twice a day. Like he was like an animal.
He's still grinding, man. He's running these AAU kids. I'm like, he's
he's coaching now, but he's not grinding.
No, I'm telling you, like he works. He works.
I know he works.
You don't go out there and dominate George the Messiah and not like still have.
Well, he's naturally strong and big.
It's still there's a different level. If I went out there and tried to do that, I would be huffing and puffing, and George the Messiah at 70 years old would be dunking on me. It would be embarrassing.
Okay, well, listen. If you feel like he hasn't put on weight, then we can live in this world.
I'm just telling you, I put on weight like everybody as we get older.
No, you haven't.
Our bodies change.
No, Chris, you have not. That's a lie.
You're
You have not put on
right now.
I'm pointing out that the guy used to be like in this like phenomenal shape, and now he's put on a lot of weight. That's all.
NBA players, it's tough. You go from like constantly active to now you're sitting in a chair.
I love Scal. He's always been very nice to me. I'm just pointing out that
I will go to bat for my friend. You know, you want to talk about just like honestly here. There are people that you encounter throughout your career that make you feel like you can actually do this job, and we've talked about this. Where I came into a world that I didn't know if I was cut out to do this, and Scal more than anybody made me believe that I could do this. And now it was always backhanded to be like, man, when you first got here, you sucked. And I was like, well, you're not wrong. But now I have the confidence that I can go on air with a stupid mustache
Chris,
and be myself.
You're turning this. You're making.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad, Fred.
No, but you're turning it into like I said something terrible about the guy.
It's
Like
okay.
I like him a lot. That's why I feel comfortable saying he's put on a lot of weight. Okay, that's all. All right, Chris Forsberg.
You can tell you're very comfortable. He's put on a lot of weight.
Yeah, listen. What are you gonna do? You know, he could lose it. I mean, it's not forever. All right, look, NBC Sports Boston, Chris Forsberg. He's the guy at the bottom left of the screen. That just shows you I'm watching. All right, we will be back in just a moment. Thanks, Chris, as always, for coming in. We appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins lost their 9th straight game last night, 4-3 to.
Supposed to start a new job at Pennzoil, but I'm sure they'll understand. I clearly stated that I was all about class. Think I might have a few fireballs stashed under the bathroom sink to start it off, you guys.
Nice
So there
working
you go.
Pennzoil now. I'm actually excited for more posts about that. That'll be a nice job for him.
He's not doing very much dad boner anymore.
no,
like,
it's
and
a
it's a
shame.
shame.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a shame. He's looked to pivot into like a podcasting career.
Didn't really pan out,
Burns,
it
the
seems.
comedian behind Dad Boner, and I have a friend who saw him live read from the Dad Boner book in Royal Oak, Michigan.
How was
And
that?
Not great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really obviously like a brilliant guy, but like with the Twitter, like I'll say it, Dad Boner was the only Twitter site that I thought was like perfection. Like that, like it was the way that it was supposed to be used. It's been done. Now it's time to move on to another medium.
There was a stretch of time where that was on fire. And Fred, I remember I would send you text and you would send me text and it would just be like LOL. And we knew immediately like, oh, I gotta update my feed because there's new Dad Boner stuff to go laugh at. And talk about.
Comedically, it's perfect for performers because there's no real pressure. You can tweet whenever you want to. I don't know. Look, you followed it closer than I do, but there's no scheduled release of tweets. You can just do it when the mood moves you.
Yeah, Dad Boner is a character that a comedian came up with. He lives in Grand Blanc, Michigan, and he's like, it started off he was going through a divorce and all this stuff, but it was this linear story of this character tweeting as his life fell apart. And it went on for like 5 years, and Crazy Cooter was involved. And
I tell you, maybe a top 5 greatest tweet of all time came during one of these things, and you had to read it every couple of days to stay up on things. He had gotten into an altercation in a grocery store, in a Kroger's, I believe, with a woman wearing purple sweatpants who had a big ass. He would have loved her, John, whom he called Mega Butt Cheeks. And they were arguing about something, and I think I have it verbatim, Fred. I believe the tweet after he talked about this argument with the woman, a day or two later, just randomly, he said, "Had butt cheek passions with Mega Butt Cheeks last night. She called it hot dogging. So much buns."
I remember that one. So much fun.
And the best is he felt he had mixed emotions.
Whoa! Listen, and you could almost see and feel the confessional moment as Dad Boner, this fictional guy, was sitting down like, I gotta put this out there, you guys. Had butt cheek passions with Mega Butt Cheeks last night. She called it hot dogging. So much buns.
And the great thing about Dad Boner's reaction to Mega Butt Cheeks is that, yeah, he was conflicted about what he was doing. He didn't really enjoy it.
Hot dogging.
I must have picked it up after that.
Oh. Were you there for the Peanut Saga?
No.
Peanut and Crazy.
Ever get old? Do you ever not like it? Having a nice hot grilled hot dog slice? You like it, right?
Yeah, had butt cheek passions with Mega Butt Cheeks. She called it hot dog and so much buns.
Okay, I maybe added last night, but other than that, I had it.
Pretty much.
I had fun between.
Careful here. I don't know how much of this
you
can
can.
actually get away with.
Yeah, you can. I've had fun between the buns with Mega Butt Cheeks called hot dog, and not going to go into detail like some classless animal, though.
That Boner does keep it classy and consensual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys.
It's 12 years ago that came out.
Twitter was a fun place back then.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, now it's just, making up stories about 18-year-old freshmen at Ole Miss and having their father had sex with their boyfriend's father had sex with them.
And fast food restaurant fights that leave you with that really oogie feeling in your stomach when you get done watching them. Like, God, why did I just watch that? It showed up on my feed. All right, I guess I'll watch it.
All right. Well, there you go.
We're going to, at some point, Fred, revisit Robert Kraft from yesterday when he talked about two things that I know will be of interest to you, the succession plan and also the airplanes. So
nice.
will it feels
Does it come clean on the ashtrays, Hardy?
Feels stackish. Yeah, just probably get to it in the stack. We were going to do it
Okay.
here, but we'll have to push it because Jaffe's going to be here in a couple minutes.
Now I'm looking back.
He's given tips for a party. This wasn't on Twitter. Invite as many babes as possibly. Make sure to add in some gross outs so the top shelf ones know you're sensitive and not just out to get busy. Wink. Plus, any real macho man on the prowl makes a mistake from time to time. Ran to this one babe with mega butt cheeks at the grocery store a few ticks back, having casual hot dog carnal passions. And then he says something I'm not sure I can say. It was chill, but trying to keep it on the hush-hush good guy code. Turn the sound off during Beyonce halftime action. Just keep the picture loud and clear. Maybe crank up some rambling gambling man while you're peeping that righteous caramel caboose piled high with all the toppings. All right, very good.
I remember one early on when he was talking about some party he was going to go to, and he said, if that house gets in my way, you know I'm going to burn it down, you guys.
All right. Okay. We will be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy.
Pulled off the Bruins 4-3 at TD Garden last night. Joe Sacco's team has now lost 9 straight games.
You know, the guys are trying to get a win here, right? We're all trying to get a win. You know, that's a tough emotion, right? You want to just make sure that you keep battling, you keep playing through it, and I thought we did tonight again.
Alexander Ovechkin scored a power play goal in the first period to pull to within 3 of Wayne Gretzky for the NHL's career record for Washington. David Pastrnak scored twice in the loss for the Bruins. They'll be in Montreal tomorrow night. Celtics had last night off after sweeping a 6-game road trip. They're back home at TD Garden to play Miami tonight. Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Drew Holiday are all questionable. Al Horford is doubtful. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Joe Mazzulla yesterday named the Eastern Conference Coach of the Month for March. Red Sox had last night off. Garrett Crochet pitches in Baltimore tonight against the Orioles. And Mass Live is reporting the Patriots have received multiple trade inquiries about backup quarterback Joe Milton. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dave & Buster's. Get in to watch the tourney and enjoy the Eat and Play combo now with the unlimited gameplay option for just $59.99. Braintree, Natick, Woburn, Providence, and Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Boston plays here.
Pressure, half court, it's in the air. Go! He got it! He did it again!
98.5 The Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Yeah, it was for sure one of the longest ones, yeah. Just trying to bring energy.
Yesterday, a kid from BC, local kid, made his debut with the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, Ryan Leonard.
Did he have a big contingent there?
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. The whole team was there.
They had the sweaters on.
Yep.
They're wearing them backwards so you could see the name on the front. I thought that was cute. Yeah.
And tons of fans. He got a rousing welcome when he did the rookie laps that the Bruins don't do. Bruins don't send out first-time players. Other teams do it, though. It's a tradition where they go out, almost always bucketless, first time, take 2 or 3 laps, and Ryan did that. And his teammate, Gabe Perreault, trying to remember who the Rangers are playing tonight. They're playing tonight, though. Oh, the Minnesota Wild. He's making his NHL debut tonight.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice. Well, look at that. Yeah. Okay, so I thought because I heard about that. Another kid from BC, right? Yeah. He's making his debut for the Rangers. All right. So we were talking about this earlier, and I just want your opinions on it. All right, the Bruins have 69 points. They've lost, they've lost 9 in a row.
Yes, they have.
Okay, the St. Louis Blues have won 10 in a row.
Yes, they have.
They're making they're going to make the playoffs.
Hottest team in the league.
Okay. The Vegas Golden Knights have clinched a playoff berth. They have 98 points. They've won their division. These are the last 2 coaches.
Gee whiz, where are you going with this, Fred?
Well, I'm going to go about how the success the ex-Bruins coaches are having. So what they both have in common is that they both were fired by the Bruins, immediately got other jobs, and have had great success. We know why they got rid of
Bruce Cassidy.
Bruce Cassidy, thank you. I've
You're
already
welcome.
forgotten.
You're welcome.
Bruce Cassidy. But Jim Montgomery, now look, they were struggling at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But Jim Montgomery...
Different team he's got in St. Louis. Different situation. Doing great. Very happy for him. If you're asking about, okay, so why you get rid of him, at the time, they had to make a move, Fred.
Okay, but more than that, it seems organizational. It's because it's not the coaches. Like, there's no way. You don't have a coach that you fired and then he goes and wins the Stanley Cup the next year, and then you don't have a coach that you fired and then he takes over a mediocre team and they win 10 games in a row and make the playoffs. And he's like this conquering hero in St. Louis. I follow the Cardinals, so I see the Post-Dispatch. Montgomery's the star of that team. Like, Montgomery is in St. Louis the star of that team.
It's even worse because it's mid-season, and he got that team to play well. It was the off-season when he took over, when Cassidy took over Vegas.
Yeah, the team was bad enough to fire their coach and hire him. And so my point is this: is that not if they really even should have fired the coaches. There's reasons they did it.
They're going to have to hire a new coach and be right on this one.
Well, yeah, but this is obviously an organizational problem. Like, this, it's not Cassidy and Montgomery's fault. It's not. There's no way. There's no way that they went to other teams and had success. They're not bad coaches.
I would agree.
Okay. So what's the solution? Because you can't, because obviously.
Well, they've got a mega offseason coming up. And part of that, not just more than the coach, is the roster.
Right.
So I think that's where you're getting, Fred, is the roster and the type of coach that they're going to bring in. They lost a lot of, don't forget, they lost a lot of defensive structure this year from day one. Training camp wasn't good from day one. Things were off, and I've said it on air with you guys before, and on Saturday, the hockey show as well. A different vibe all year long. Coach is part of that. Not everything, though, or coaching is part of that. But their offseason, Fred, is mega enormous, if that's even a term. Whatever, ginormous, okay? They've got to restructure, and they've got to add in ways, and then they've got to get the right kind of coach that's going to bring more defensive structure in, because it's been too porous this year.
Is it a coach that's a hard ass like Cassidy was tough?
I would lean that way.
Okay, so you know where I'm going.
No,
with
not
this.
Tortorella.
Okay,
no, different type of team, because I don't think Tortorella. I mean, unless I don't see the Bruins. I don't know. Maybe they bring in a bunch of veteran players. I don't know if I see that happening. I was just talking with somebody about this. He's more of a team that needs that final push to the final step. Very old school. He was the oldest coach in the league when he got fired, 66 years old.
Did you hear the story about what came out in Philadelphia? I apologize because I can't find it again, but this morning I read something that there's a free agent to be in Philadelphia, and Tortorella said if he re-signed with the team, he told the player, he goes, if you re-sign with the team, I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to bury you.
That's not good.
No, if I'm the organization, I'm a little peeved that he's going directly to the players.
I would think that
and encouraging them not to resign.
He also made a comment after they got throttled.
We played that
about not wanting to have to basically learn how to coach like this at this point. John was. It seems like when you put everything together, and Danny Briere. I don't want to get off topic here too much with the Bruins, but with the Flyers, I mean, but the previous 3 weeks, Fred, it was a slow kind of. Or it was a combination of a couple of things that I think Torts just kind of had it. And I think, and by the way, he's a free speaker. That's
obvious, right.
I've covered him since we were in Atlanta together when the Thrashers seemingly played every team in the Southeast, a.k.a. the Southeast Division, about 14 times a year. We would see each other a ton, and he was always that way. I got a lot of respect for him. He's done a lot of good. Right now, I mean, because we don't know how the team's going to be constructed or reconstructed, I would say not the top of my list right now. With all that said, I don't know. We got, there's going to be things that have to be considered in general. There's already people here, and there's going to have to be more focus right now on the team roster than anything.
Okay. And, obviously.
They've got some good people here, so they'll take them into consideration too.
All right.
Well, look, what do I know? But obviously, I mean, it just, from a distance, it seems like maybe it's go outside the organization. But what do I know? Maybe they have the best people. But Neely and Sweeney are obviously safe. Are they kind of untouchable at this point? Like if it wasn't going to happen now, it seems like they're pretty ingrained. Like the ownership is pretty set on just that they're going to be the guys. Obviously.
They made a lot of moves that would indicate things. And
right.
I think, Don Sweeney's been very forthright about it, that he's going to, he's got to reshape this team. He's got to retool this team. I think given what's happened this year, I think everybody's on watch.
Well, what's interesting about it is, I give them credit for that huge run. That's since 2000, they've won more games than any other team in hockey. That. It's a shame they didn't win another cup. It's a shame they lost to St. Louis. That is a team that deserved more cups. Reminds me of that Braves team with that great Braves team
15
in the 90s.
years
90s,
of Braves baseball in the playoffs.
Right, exactly, right? It reminds me of that, but what a sustained run, unheard of, or very rare in sports.
Great run, yeah.
So I give them credit for that. They hung on to it as long as they could. But again, just getting back to it, the only thing that bothers me as a Bruins fan is the way they've handled coaching, because that is what bad organizations do in any sport. That rotation and that carousel, and what doubles down and makes it even worse is like I said, you ran two guys out of town. But I give them credit and a little leash for, look, these teams were good. They won a President's Trophy. These teams were good.
I know going to a Stanley Cup final doesn't make anybody feel good when you don't win, but getting to couple of Stanley Cup finals after winning, pretty good too. But
right.
It's about the now. Let's be. I'm with you. It's all nice. It's all good. We give him credit for making some deals that didn't unfortunately get him over the hump.
Right.
Yet we've
they
talked
tried
about
at the
this ad
deadlines,
nauseum.
and I understand why they mortgaged the future, and I understand all that, and I understand there was a time where they were going to have to rebuild. It's just like the plan has completely fell apart this year. Like this was the year.
This has been
I think
a
they
higher
could have prepared
expectation year that has gone very wrong.
And I think if you're the front office, you have to kind of your job. It's not my job or your job. Their job is to kind of predict these things before they happen, right? Like I put that on the
Stay
front
ahead of. Yes.
Yeah, you're staying ahead of things. So I put that on the front office. Like you way overestimated the strength of this team. You came into this season with this whole Swayman thing, and Lord knows what's going on with that. But something was going on there. You made the Elias Lindholm mistake, and you fired your coach 10 games in, which they had to do, and I understand. But they put themselves in that position. And that's kind of my big knock on them is not that they're in this position because this was going to happen. It's that they went into the season not foreseeing this, like thinking they could wring another year out of it.
They thought they addressed it, and they thought they addressed some holes or some needs, and understanding that there were going to be some other contracts up, and the rumors were the cap was going up, so then they could build off, so they were going to hopefully fill some needs, add to it in this offseason as well, and then try to work in then younger players. I mean, you sign a young goaltender. You hope to have a defenseman in Lowry. I know he has struggled lately defensively.
No, but you can see something.
But
in him.
Right. Yeah. But my point is, they were hoping that by adding guys that fill the void up front and center and back on the D, left D, that you could then continue to it wasn't a rebuild at all. Continue to build
to build on the fly
and to build on the fly and to continue to hopefully build for the future. And work in other players. Again, what makes this year, I think, very difficult for me, I can't speak for you guys, for me at least, is that I didn't have them winning the Stanley Cup as is October 1st, but I said, if things go well, it's a pretty good team, I thought. I was wrong. I was wrong. I'm not the only one. It doesn't matter. I take,
but it's not your job, right? Like
No, but it's my job to analyze. And I thought that they had addressed certain things that would allow them to be a very competitive team. And then,
but they made mistakes.
If they produced like we thought, they could then add.
Right, but the additions they made turned out to be mistakes.
Not only the additions, not only the additions, but the Charlie Coyle career year last year.
Right.
Nowhere near that. Pavel Zacha, great defensively, but not having near the offensive year that he had last year. By the way, I was looking at some comparables from the Washington Caps, and I don't know if we're going to get to them or not because it was fun to see them last night, but they've had 6-7 guys, too, this year that are having off-the-charts career years.
Tom Wilson has 30 goals.
30 goals, right.
Yeah, who picked that at the beginning of the season?
Satan. Is who
but they've got 6 other guys, Johnny, that are bringing it, whether it's the
guys I've never heard of.
Yeah, Protas McMichael. Jacob Chychrun, who just signed an 8-year, $9 million a year contract on the back end, having
20,
a career
right?
year, 20 goals for a back end defenseman.
Jesus.
So anyways, they're having a great year. It's fun. I don't want to get too much away, but I'll say this. Seeing Ovechkin at that moment was, I appreciated watching him. I mean, I watched him come into the rink. I was talking to my buddy, the assistant coach for the Caps before the game downstairs, and then in comes OV, and he's always the last one off behind the guys, but such a huge smile on his face. Coming in at 39, pushing 40, an absolute zest, a zeal for the game, an exuberance for the game that is awesome. Scores a beautiful goal, just a gorgeous goal because the touch pass on the backhand from Strome to him was spectacular.
We were talking about it earlier and how your breakdown of it last night. He was waiting for what looked to be maybe he was in a spot where he's going to
maybe a tip,
a deflection, but sees the play develop a little bit. And he goes, "Oh, you know what? If I just move about a foot over here, I'll actually be able to get the pass
wide open."
Yeah,
it was, and he went stealth because we're always assuming that he's going to be in one spot on that left side, which he always does establish. But then he moved more towards the middle. I like calling it going stealth under the play. But it was a gorgeous backhand pass from Strome to him, a touch pass there. And it was set up, by Carlson at the point. Anyway, just the visuals and everything. Look, the Bruins, if you're looking at a team like the Caps, They did reestablish their team last year to this year significantly. They had 2 young players that they thought they could build around, and they're still figuring out. But Protas has got 30 goals. He's 6'6", 230, and he skates beautifully. And then I got another kid, McMichael, who's a third, fourth-line player, and he has 50-something points right now. But anyways, Bruins, if they are going to redo that, they're going to have to bring in some other players, and hopefully they can.
I had a guy tell me yesterday that he knew a teammate of Ovechkin's, and he had never seen Ovechkin drink water. That he only was drinking like Coke heavies, like he was.
He does drink Coke, on the bench and stuff. He's a freak because he is not what you would call during the offseason. You've seen pictures of him
he's
living
fat.
large.
Yeah.
And he's a freak of nature because he enjoys life. And I would call he's changed his ways over the years, I'm told, but it's still like he's happy to go out and enjoy himself, and maybe he has some water with some of the vodka that he likes to drink. Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
He drank water.
It's not even It's not even the partying so much as the guy said that he owns some Papa John's franchises.
He has a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it's true. So then he's constantly just eating Papa John's and drinking Cokes. In the locker room, he's just he's
39. That's incredible.
Maybe not in the locker room.
But he does put on weight, and then he takes it off in time. He looks good. Now, he broke his leg earlier this year, and I think it was 16 or 17 games that he missed. But he got himself back into – it was a fluke kind of play in a game. But then he got himself into really good shape. He looks good. I mean, he talks about it openly. He's like, yeah, it takes me a little longer to catch my wind now on the bench and everything, but he's still smart. What he doesn't do as much – remember the days when we were in Atlanta and we saw him, that he would run people over.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely hit to hurt. Because he absolute bull. And I think he played close to 250. I think he was 245, 248 at that point. He's lighter now.
So one of the disparities was in a graphic you guys showed last night as he approaches Gretzky's record is the goals and the way they've been acquired.
Oh,
right?
So different.
The most staggering one to me was Gretzky's shorthanded goals, which 70, 80, something ridiculous. Ovechkin has 5.
Yes.
It's probably more than that, but that's the biggest jump between
and
the
he
two.
scored the most power play goals.
Right.
So it's very different. And I don't know if you caught it in pre or not. We had some old video, and I could go down the rabbit hole of watching these all day, these 80s, 70s, whatever. And Gretzky, just his slinkiness around the ice, how long he could hold on to the puck, how he was nimble, how he was literally thinking 2 passes ahead, or 2 plays ahead. And then Ovechkin just absolutely just a moose, just barreling over people in hammer time with the one time.
It's like one guy was incredibly mentally acute, and the other guy is just like a physical freak. Not like Ovechkin doesn't understand the game or anything, but like Ovechkin,
different style.
He was hungry for the empty. I don't know if you guys caught it at the end or not, if you stayed to the end, but he was hungry.
Oh no,
for the
he was
empty
hanging.
netter.
He was hanging.
I would be too.
I saw it. I'm like, yeah.
But you
another one.
can't break the record on an empty net.
Well, I don't think he will.
No,
he will
okay.
not.
Yeah,
he
won't.
will not. But he would have been fine last night if he.
To get there as quickly as possible. Yeah,
and that would have gotten him within 3, right?
Yeah.
If he had scored at the
it would
end,
have got him within 2.
Yes,
yeah, would have got him in 2. All
It's
right.
like Jokic. He's out there. He's not getting it done. He doesn't look like Jordan.
and he's got 60 at the end of the night,
like Gretzky did. But it's like, wow, he's always scoring goals, and he's not getting moved off the puck. Interesting.
I had to see Jokic in person, and now I know how he does it. For whatever reason, he's 10 times stronger than everyone else on that court. For whatever, I don't know how or what.
Yeah. No, he
but
looks
you
like a lumpy bag of potatoes, but he's one of the best 2 players on the planet.
No one can move him out. No one can get in his way. He just will move you. He will physically move you out of the way.
Well, there was a guy here for years, by the way, named Larry Bird, that didn't look to be the most physically gifted. And
Jokic is a throwback to that.
Bird looked like Kobe compared to Jokic, though. I mean, Bird he could be smooth and slippery.
Yeah,
there's
just Jokic is. I watched it. I wanted to see it in person, and from my eyes, whatever that's worth.
The cerebralness of Larry Bird reminds me of a Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah,
just how amazingly ahead of the play.
Well, I guess I heard there was this and then one with the Celtics thing. They're doing that thing on whatever, I don't know what it's on. It's like this documentary about the Celtics, and the Lakers are talking about how they came into the Boston Garden one day, and Larry Bird was waiting for the bus. And they came in, he goes, "Oh, you guys are just getting here. I've been practicing for 2 hours." And the Lakers are telling you it's true.
Yeah.
Larry Bird went out into the parking lot or the dock or wherever the hell the bus parks and waited for the bus, heard the bus was coming and waited for the bus so he could talk at him and say, I've been here for 2 hours. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
Like, if you think about it, if it's like not a lie, it's pretty crazy. Like, it's like he took on the whole bus. He just said, I want to, he's like, I'm going to talk to all you while you're sitting in the bus. All right, Billy, thank you so much.
Great to see you guys.
A good segment as we get into the dog days here at the end of the season.
Couple more weeks, a few more games, and we're done.
And then we will be...
Tomorrow night in Montreal.
All right.
Hopefully gets their antenna up.
There you go. Billy Jaffe, watch him on Ness and listen to the Morning Brew podcast with Andrew Raycroft. We'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy. describes himself in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Don't disturb Jaffe and John. I didn't mean to disturb you guys.
Oh, they're really having a chin wag. Meanwhile, I was firing these foam golf balls at Billy with a hockey stick. Billy, pretty impressive being able to elevate those shots, though. Thank you.
And you're not left-handed, are you?
I shoot left.
Oh, you do?
Really? Want to know why? I was instructed that I should hold a hockey stick the way I hold a snow shovel. That's how it was taught to me. So whatever you use to shovel snow is how I was told I should hold a hockey stick.
Yeah.
If you ever held a snow shovel, Fred, you could use that information as well, but you have probably yet to pick one up.
No, not these hands.
No.
No, I have my people do it. I have one of the staff do it. My condominium comes complete with a staff. My shared wall condominium. I have a butler and a whole grounds crew, a gardener. It's a whole thing. I have a gardener to take care of the patch, the patch of lawn that's died because I had a pitching mound on it for 2 years. This is from Tim. He says, he said, I loved Adam's comments when you guys were going into the dad boner, but he said, Fred, remember when you and I used to text each other the funny thing and the other one would write back LOL? That was awesome. Good story. Thanks, guys. I don't know if that's how he told the story, but there you go.
I'm sifting through all the Blind Scott emails to get to some that we can
he hasn't emailed me today, and I'm very much, which I'm happy for. Christopher says, hello, Fred and Hardy. No, John, you'll notice. Been a fan of both of you since the WBCN days. I originally liked Pat McAfee when he first started on ESPN. It was shocking. I guess I'll say he was shocking. It was shocking the way he was saying some of the crazy things on ESPN. I watched every day. After a couple months, I got sick of the act, and especially the cast of characters. The supporting crew are just idiots, and the Boston guy is the worst gimmick ever. Loud, obnoxious Boston guy. Wow, that is so creative. I still cannot believe he actually randomly brought up a girl non-famous at Ole Miss to Schefter. Between his argument with Schefter, his segment with Schefter every week is unwatchable. He tries to break Schefter and make him uncomfortable every single time. He's actually having some live event at some arena this month. Why is anyone going to see his act live? I wonder if Pat wants to get fired from ESPN and go back to YouTube or Rumble or something like that. That is all. I don't really need a response, Chris from Belmont. And that has always been the reason I harp on Pat McAfee is twofold. One, he's a tremendous businessman. The idea that he marketed that Aaron Rodgers interview into the contract he did with ESPN and has the freedom, I guess, to like swear besides the F word and the C word, like except for the good ones. He cannot skin, but like that he can swear and everything. It's quite a coup. Like he's a great businessman, right? But his show, he's an amateur, and Adam was talking about it too, and that makes me think his audience is all idiots. Like the way, and if he brought up the Ole Miss girl, if you don't know the story, this Ole Miss girl is 18, and there's some. Beaton was telling us there's some SEC Twitter thing, and they make fun of kids at SEC schools.
A lot of burner accounts.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. And there's this. But by the way, McAfee's got to be at least 40, right? I don't know. It's almost weird that he would be aware of any of this. And this girl,
37.
There's this girl, whatever. Still, this girl. There was this rumor that her boyfriend had sex. She had sex with her boyfriend's dad, but none of these people are at all even there's no notoriety. They're just random people, and it never happened. And so he brought it up, but even I would question bringing that up. But even if it was remotely funny, and I'm not sitting back here and deciphering a joke because you can make anything not funny. But like there was no line, there was
no punchline.
Like they weren't and I like making guests uncomfortable. It's fun. Like if they're uptight, like and if Schefter was on and you could make him uncomfortable in a funny way, that's like an interesting segment. Like look at the uptight guy, like he can't say anything. But wouldn't it be about Zach Wilson like banging his mom's friend, right? Like if Jackson Dart was the rumor was he had sex with his mom's friend or something involving Jackson Dart, or his girlfriend did something. And that I get. Like, and that would make Schefter uncomfortable because he can't talk about guys' sex lives on the air, and like that's uncomfortable. The whole thing to me is, how the hell did he even know that this was happening? Everything he does annoys me. And I like plenty of people on the radio. Believe me, I love radio. I love it. And there's a lot of guys that do it very well. And I'm not sitting here telling you I'm better than anyone but him. and believe me, I appreciate the money he makes, but it makes me furious when these companies make these terrible decisions.
And I don't think he wants to get fired. I mean, it's not a case where it's like he would just take the money and be happy with the money and not work. I think he wants to be on the air. He wants to be doing this show. It's just and just again, and I'll repeat it again. Is just which is odd for me to repeat myself. Is the idea that when he gets crap, he goes, "Oh, it's just fun. We're just trying to have fun." Dude, you work for Disney. You got a marquee deal. Like, you're a showcase of the Disney network. That whole thing is over. There's no fun. Ask Howard Stern how fun it was to be Howard Stern. He made a ton of money. He was very important to CBS Infinity Radio. And when the FCC was coming down on him and he was getting in all that trouble, it was torture. But it was kept feeding itself. But I don't think he ever went on the air and just said, "I'm just trying to have fun." He might have said, like, no. I should be able to. He went after the people that were coming down on him. But I don't think his excuse was like, "Oh, we're just clowning around here." No, you're not. You're a corporation. You're your own corporation. Go ahead. Hardy, loved the show. Wasn't aware of your affinity for the Blossoms. We're talking about Jim Blossoms.
Yeah, you got that right.
I'll have you know they're playing Treehouse Brewing Company in Deerfield on June 5th, as well as the Melody Tent on July 17th with Blues.
Whoa. They can do both?
With Blues Traveler, are you going? I've seen Jim Blossoms many, many times over the years. I could do the June 5th one. The one with Blues Traveler, I've seen Blues Traveler live a couple of times. It's been a while. And I'll tell you the thing with the Blues Traveler concert. A lot of harmonica solos. You better settle in.
Bobo.
Yeah, and it's way more noodly than you might be expecting.
They were like a quasi jam band.
Yeah, I didn't
like
know.
upstate New Yorkie.
When I went to see them and like went way out of my way to go to a Blues Traveler show because I did like the first record a lot. I'm like, oh wow, these guitar and harmonica solos are numerous and lengthy.
Remember when I told you the story that it's the guy from the NFL Network. I like him too. The guy that was on Good Morning Football that didn't play. You know who I'm talking about.
Not Jeremiah.
No.
The guy who just left Good Morning Football. That guy.
He's like the non-football player. He's the male that didn't play football. That's the only way I can identify him.
I know who you're talking about.
But he was on Mad Dog and he goes. Yeah, and I'm like, Mad Dog, we could talk about music. Like, I saw Blues Traveler just when they weren't playing the Madison Square Garden. They were playing the theater next to it.
Peter Schrager, I think you're talking
You're like,
about.
Peter Schrager? It's like being at a Kesey thing in San Francisco, like an acid test, my friend. You mean you told me you saw The Traveler when they were just playing theaters? Jeez Louise, I underestimated your cultural acumen, my friend.
Okay.
He was going to matinees at the theater. He was going to all-age Sunday matinees at the theater next to the Garden to see The Traveler. That's the upstate New York scene of the 90s, which was the Blues Traveler Spin Doctors scene of the 90s.
I think that was the double bill that night I saw him over in Kalamazoo.
You know what the thing about the Spin Doctors thing is he had voice problems, unfortunately. He seems like a nice guy. He had voice problems, but I always thought he had a problem with his wrists because his whole thing was he would be incredibly limp.
Well, it was that kind of like hippie Trustafarian groundhog digging dance that they all would do.
Yeah.
The grooviness of it. Saren Everett, who will be here, Fred.
Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Who I do not hate, despite her accusations.
emailed at 8:49 a.m. Hi, Hardy, dropping my client off in Newton. Would Adam 12 be interested in either one of these free items? I think I want the chair. She included a photo of things left out by the curb for people to just come by and take. One of them is a primary colored, looks like a toy box almost, but the shelving toy box thing. You probably don't want that.
I'm out on that.
She wants the chair. The chair has a plexiglass back to it. It looks like something that would have been in Ace Rothstein's house in the movie Casino.
Let me see the house.
Well,
okay, that's not, because I was going to say that sounds like something my ex-wife, that chair, like something she would leave on the street in Newton.
That's not your old
That'd be really funny.
No, it's not my old house. We never had that toy thing. Well, I wonder if she knew where my ex-wife lived and was doing it on purpose. As she has seen me driving around and walking around Newton.
So
she says I was what was her term for it? Like when I was gazing at her, like I was staring at her. I was like devouring her with my eyes.
You know what you were doing.
We're gonna have to get into that tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, when I see her, maybe I'll see if I recognize her. The main thing with Sarah from Everett coming in that I'm interested in is Hardy, because you two have. Sarah from Everett is just, since you've been on the show, if anything, she just insulted me and I didn't know who she was. You brought Sarah from Everett into the show just because she followed you onto it. So you've had this relationship with her for a long time.
Yes.
So, and you've never even seen her face.
No.
In a picture.
No.
So when she comes in, because to me, I haven't been thinking about Sarah from Everett for very long. But Hardy,
I've been thinking about her constantly.
I didn't say how often. I just said for how long. I don't think you think about her. Well, you think about her every day. She contacts you every day.
Every day.
That's always weird when you finally meet someone that you've been talking to for a long time. I mean, it always is. It's interesting.
Yeah, and it's very one-sided because
she knows you.
Well, yeah, I get emails. We all get emails from her, and we hear her voice occasionally. But based on her emails, she listens to the show every day. So she's hearing me every day, can see us every day.
No, she knows what you look like.
Yeah.
And you obviously have, just because this is what people do, you've created a picture of her in your mind. So whether or not like you even think it's reality, when you think of Sarah from Everett, an image has to come up. Like you probably have an image of what color hair she has, like this kind of idea of what she looks like. And then when you finally see her, it's going to be striking for you.
Yeah. I'm mentally prepared, but to what extent? You don't know until you know. So we'll know tomorrow.
And that's what's going to be interesting. And Adolfo will be on tomorrow. And then we have an idea of what we want to do for these finals.
Right.
For the 6-man competition, which the finals will be next week.
Yep.
And we will have that going for you. I think Monday is when the final will be.
You want to
But we
match
might
it
have
up?
to massage that. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, you want to match it up with the NCAA final, you see.
Very important for the.
We can at least start it then. But
Synergy.
I would like to drag it out.
I don't want to drag it out either. I'm just doing. I'm hoping it can be paid off on Monday.
Okay.
Well, no, we can drag it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. All right, look, we will be back. We will end the show. We will have our fabulous stack segment, and but first, here are the headlines.
is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack.
But watching it a second time around. I watched every episode as they happen. I've been rewatching it. It's better than I remembered. Okay, so here we go.
You know, as far as succession is there. I have my eldest son, Jonathan, has been part of every key decision I've made.
By the way, that was not the first thing you said to him. I want to go back and with the original first question, which was,
have there been any discussions, any succession plans, things like that?
Are you telling me, first of all, I think I'm 35, and you all will laugh when I say it, but I really, you know, in life, look, I was a little kid sitting on those benches dreaming about owning this team.
All right, pause there, please.
A winning.
And now F off.
But that was the most interesting thing about that comment to me, was that when he was a little kid, he dreamed of owning the team. Wouldn't you dream of playing for the team?
Yeah. Well, somebody pointed out when Schaefer Stadium opened, he was 30. So I don't know what benches he's referring to. Fenway Park, the Boston Patriots?
No, the benches, there are metal benches and not seats in the stands.
Oh, yeah, he didn't understand
That's
what you were saying.
talking.
Hardy's more pointing to the age that he was, John, not
30.
not the condition of the seats.
I see.
Yeah, so if he was 30, that makes more sense that he was no kid, but I guess when you're 80, 30's a kid.
Oh, well, I call 30-year-olds kids now.
So he was dreaming. That makes more sense because if you were a child,
yes,
and watching it, you had already written off the fact that you could be an athlete. That's sad.
Yeah. Anyway, so okay, he still thinks of himself as a young person.
I was a little kid sitting on those
he says
benches
little kid.
dreaming about owning this team.
Yeah,
and bringing a winning culture here.
You were dreaming
I'm
about
trying to understand, Fred.
a winning culture here when you were 5.
But they didn't exist when he was 5. Is the point? They were 30 when. What year did the Boston Patriots come into existence?
1960, 61 in there.
All right, so he was 20. He was like 19 or 20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
You're a man. Dude, I'd gotten laid by then.
Yeah, he was born in 41.
Yeah, 19.
Oh, he's older than my parents.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So
There's no succession plan for my parents.
What about them planes? What about them airplanes?
Well, first of all, let me just correct. There are no ashtrays on the plane. I mean, that goes back 30 years ago. I don't know. Have anyone gone on a plane with ashtrays? There's no ashtrays.
Twitter has. Twitter
willing to take a bet with anyone who says that.
Okay.
Then your own fan base defending you because there are people on Twitter going, yeah, there's still planes with ashtrays.
Yes.
Which then I said that was literally the moment where I said I'm not paying attention to Twitter anymore. I went off.
But having said that,
we bought those planes to make it easier for our team to travel. It was very hard.
No. That's not true. He bought those planes from Eastern Airlines. They were decommissioned planes from Eastern Airlines that he bought because they were basically giving them away. And then what happened is the maintenance costs for them were way more than they expected. There's a whole story behind that.
Well, he went on to say they need new planes.
Yeah, chartering flights, like chartering, he had done the math, and buying these decommissioned planes from Eastern Airlines was far cheaper than chartering the planes. And no. So that I think they're, to my knowledge, and believe me, I'm not knee deep in the Kraft business enterprises, but I don't believe that to be the case. I think that was a cost saving measure, buying the planes. I don't think it was some luxurious item. They were decommissioned Eastern Airline planes. That I know. When Eastern Airlines went out of business, they had all those airplanes, obviously, and they were like basically wholesale prices, and so the Krafts bought them. But when you buy an old airplane, what do you got to do? I mean, you don't want to die, so they require a terrible amount of maintenance. And I think that it ended up not being a very savvy investment.
You've been around long enough. He could have bought some decommissioned TWA planes from Howard Hughes. You know, them Constellations, they were grounded after several accidents, Fred.
Well, whenever I think of him, I think of the Spruce Goose, the first wooden plane. and pea jars.
Oh, yeah.
Because when he was
It's called the Hercules. It ain't the Spruce Goose. It's the Hercules.
Now allow me to pick up these pea bottles, Mr. Hughes. I'll be on my way. No, there's 2 left. No, dude, I appreciate it, but you have to allow me to pick them up.